You were trying to explain to me last night when I was asking you about the Grusch testimonies and all the stuff that he was saying, and I was explaining to you that I was highly skeptical of the whole thing. The fact that they made it this big dog and pony show on national television, and I always question it. When the government starts to get behind it, I always question motives and what's going on.
Okay, first, when you say the government, there is no such thing anymore. There's no government. We're in a state of chaos. The government is, what balkanization means, like Yugoslavia split. There are different, what you see right now happening, with the extreme Democrats are trying to put in jail all the guys around Trump. That's like civil war. That's a civil war. We're in a civil war, except, not shooting each other, but they're trying to stop, they're interfering in the election.
War.
Huh?
It's like a political war.
But it's getting real bad. I mean, they're trying to put this has never happened in the United States. It's like a banana republic now.
Yes.
What do they do? Putin might do this, right? Putin just killed. Who's the guy? Gagosian, the Wagner guy. The only thing they haven't done it.
He just
Donald
died,
Trump has not been crashed. Donald Trump's airplane has not been shot down yet.
Right.
But maybe that's coming. I wouldn't be surprised, would you?
Right.
You wouldn't be,
I honestly wouldn't be surprised.
So there's no difference between what's happening in Russia with Putin and what's happening in the United States. It's the same thing. It's organized crime all over the place. What it is, it's like the mafia. It's like different gangs are fighting each other. Russian mafia against the Italian, the Irish mafia.
When you talk about these different gangs, you're talking about different factions of the government, like the
and they're all in the
intelligence
government
community.
now. Yes, they're all in the government now. The government, we don't have a legitimate government anymore.
So that's what you're talking about when you say there's a war going on inside the intelligence community.
Yeah, right now there are guys. Okay, there's Trump derangements there. There's Sarfatti derangements there. I have people in the CIA or from ex-CIA who are supporting what I'm doing. And then I have guys who are trying to destroy me. If I get hit by a car...
Who's trying to destroy you?
Christopher Mellon's trying to destroy me.
Why?
That's a good question.
Why would he want to? What would his motive be?
Because we got into a fight over Donald Trump.
You and Christopher Mellon did?
Yeah. We were getting along fine. He was going to come we were going to do a thing at the Bohemian Grove on UFOs. He was going to come.
You and him were going to go to Bohemian Grove?
Well, I invited him. We were going to have a thing there, okay? Okay.
We should have done this podcast at Bohemian Grove. That would have been great.
Yeah, well, I mean, the guy.
Can we get the big owl statue? Is the big statue still there?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, like the owl?
Yeah, no, it's still there. But they'll never let me back now. But, what the hell do I care? But it's true. No. Well, there was this guy, Don Rich, who's now died. Don Rich was one of the top members of the Bohemian Grove.
Uh-huh.
Okay? Let me tell you about Don Rich. Just passed away about a year ago. Just about a little more than, a year and a half ago he passed away. Don Rich, Don Rich was born in Idaho, cowboy. He's half Indian, half Apache, and cowboy. His grandfather was a Texas Ranger. He was a real cowboy. Grew up on a ranch in Idaho. And his father was a friend of Kenneth Arnold. Worked for Kenneth Arnold, who was a big ranch. Kenneth Arnold is the pilot who in 1947 first saw the flying discs.
Yes.
So Don was a little boy, like 4 or 5 years old, was there when Kenneth Arnold came back and had just seen the flying saucers and told Don heard Kenneth Arnold telling his father about what had just happened, what he just saw.
Uh-huh.
So right there at the beginning, right? There's some other stuff with flying. So of course, Don Rich was into flying saucers from the very beginning because Kenneth Arnold grew up. His father worked for Kenneth Arnold. Okay, so Don, about my age, maybe 2 years younger than me. He would have been about 82 now. So Don goes into the Marines and becomes a tank commander. Sees some action, I guess, I don't know, in South America. Maybe when they were, I forget where it was. Not Grenada. I think it was something else. And he gets out of the Marines in the 60s. Yeah, it must have been. Was he in Vietnam? I don't know. But he's an artist. He's a sculptor. So Don has a big forge, forge for steel. He does massive steel sculptures, stuff. Iron, And he had a forge in Oakland, famous thing. And he's quite successful. He worked with Buffano, a bunch of famous. He got involved with all these famous people, and he started teaching. Of course, this is the Art Institute here. Started teaching at the Art Institute. So it's like the late '60s. And then this guy, who I think is probably connected with Chipman, it wasn't Chipman, but this guy, Colonel Harry Wolf, which may not be his real name. This guy comes up one day, knocks on the door, around 1969. And Don's brother, who's now a colonel in the Marines, his brother, he went in because his older brother was in the Marines.
Okay.
And he says, Semper Fi, the Colonel Harry Wolf, he said, listen, we need you to do some work for us. He's CIA. Well, CIA. And his job is, now if he does this for a couple of years, part-time, it's a courier, what's called a courier. They give him stuff where he has to, handcuff it to himself, gets on airplanes, and he has to deliver things, small packages. And he's delivering stuff to the, he said, at one time went to China, Shanghai even. And but the French intelligence, the MI6, the Australians, he was going all over, with this stuff. And it turned we were talking about they were the parts from the Roswell crash saucer that that Phil Corso talks about when trying to reverse engineer all that stuff.
Right.
They had wrong. So Don is he's involved in it. And then at one point, Harry Wolf, Harry Wolf he says, hey, keep this for me. By the way, there was some LSD, the CIA and the LSD, there's some LSD stuff involved here too, but I don't want to get into it because I don't know fully what was really going on. Don was never clear about it. But apparently Don Wolf, this guy, Harry Wolf was also involved with MK Ultra. That's what it was. They were doing LSD experiments on people and stuff like that. Yeah, he was involved. He was part of so that means he had to be involved with Chipman too, back then. Okay, this before I knew Chipman. I know Chipman all right. So, but this is all a CIA operation or whatever and so Harry Wolf gives him this Army duffel bag like AAF 19 Roswell on it, old And Harry says, don't look in this. I'll be back in a week to get it. So, of course, he opens it up, right? In it, if you read Corso, there's about the strut, like the aluminum strut with the symbols, like the Egyptian hieroglyph symbols on it.
Yeah.
It's there. It's there. He has it in his hand. My friend.
Wow.
Okay. This is, I show you a photo of me and Don at and he's got it, and he says, Ford, he's acetylene torches, got everything, and he tries, he can't do it. It's like it resists any kind of thing, except sometimes you could crumple like that, and it restores. So, and it hardly weighs anything. It's like it's anti-gravity almost, and then it starts like almost floating.
Wow.
Okay. So he's telling me all this. I got other witnesses, not just me, Kim and this other guy, Larry Lemke, who works for Jacques Vallée, and Garry Nolan. Garry Nolan is? Okay. So, Larry works with me.
They analyze these materials, right?
No, this is back in 1968. This is Don Rich telling. This is way before any of this stuff now.
Okay.
It's back in 1968, 1969. And Harry Wolf comes and takes it back. Okay. So now, all this stuff, by the time how did I meet? Oh, yeah. So Don Rich's nephew named Will Iroquin, who actually works, I think, for DreamWorks, for Spielberg or something like that. He does, computer animation. His kid, he's young. His nephew, this is about 7 years ago, forget exactly, walks into Cafe Trieste, me and Kim, Kim you met, and says, hey, you guys got to meet my uncle, because he knows about you, and he's into flying saucers and all this stuff, and he's very big at Bohemian Grove. He wants you guys to take you into the Bohemian Grove. So that's how we met. And Don, he knew, he had a big library. He read everything. He knew exactly. He knew this stuff was real. Okay. Don, at this point, they had a memorial. I was at the memorial when he died at Bohemian Grove. You know, all the top guys, you know, think highly of him. Don was one of the 6 guys who run the Grove. You know, in charge of the, you know, they have, you know, make sure everything, you know, physically, you know, make sure everything, you know, they have a private police force and stuff like that. You know, make sure, you know, make sure everything is operating properly at the Grove. He didn't like to go to the City Club, but he liked to go up to the Grove. So we would go up to the Grove with him all the time. You know, hang out with him. They had all these different camps. Next door was Clint Eastwood's camp. Okay. And then we have at his camp, you know, we're going to oh my God. And there's all these camps. This camp where Henry Kissinger and Bloomberg and all these guys. I heard Robert Gates giving a lecture up there on the lake there by the big statue, you know, and the lake. And Robert Gates, this is back like 2017 or something like that. I don't know if Trump was president yet. And Gates is talking, somebody asked about Joe Biden. Joe Biden.
You're talking about Bill Gates?
No, Robert Gates, who was Secretary of Defense.
Oh.
Robert Gates, he was the Secretary of Defense. I forgot under who. Not Bill Gates. Although Bill Gates would go there. Actually.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. But now Robert Gates, somebody asked him a question about, what do you think of Joe Biden? Basically, Robert Gates says, Joe Biden's as dumb as a rock. I know rocks that are smarter than Joe Biden. He says, every foreign policy position that Joe Biden has supported has turned out to be a disaster. This is back before, nobody was thinking Joe Biden is president. And this supports all, and I heard Gates say this. And then this supports when Trump says that, when he spoke to Teddy Kennedy, this is back when, Trump was a Democrat, was hanging out with the Kennedys. He knew the Clintons. He went to the wedding. In fact, Trump's daughter and Chelsea
Good
Clinton,
friends with Jeffrey Epstein?
No, that's bullshit. Okay,
it's not bullshit.
No, I know exactly what it is. Okay, don't tell me because I know better than you. I have better intel.
I know a lot about Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump. I've done a lot of research on that.
No, yeah, but I know too. What I know is this. Here's what I know. Donald Trump never went to the island. Clinton went to the island. Now, Jeffrey Epstein was a member of the Mar-a-Lago Club, as are 1,000 people. Okay, and then Jeffrey Epstein started hitting on a 15-year-old daughter of the guy. One of the guys who works at the club, the gardener or something like that. And as soon as Trump found that out, he kicked Jeffrey Epstein out of. Yeah, he used to hang out with everybody, but so did the Clinton, so did everybody.
Right, everybody did. Right.
Yeah, everybody did. Mm-hmm. But I don't think there's any proof that Trump ever went to the island.
Trump was probably more connected to Epstein than anybody else.
If it was financial stuff. I don't think it was sex. I'm pretty sure it wasn't sex.
I don't know about that. I don't think there's any evidence of that with Trump doing that. But I think
it wasn't with the.
I know Trump has been to his townhouse in New York a number of times.
Of course, but they all were. I mean, so
they all were, of course.
Yeah, Clinton. I mean, anybody was.
Right.
I mean, Epstein. I'm sure is Mossad. Epstein is Mossad, right?
100%.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, I agree. So Epstein's job was to compromise. So they have like J. Edgar Hoover, had dirt on everybody, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even though Hoover himself was gay, right? It was
right. Yeah. No.
His boyfriend. We know all about that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's true. But I do know for sure that when Trump found out about the girl, the thing, he kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago. So take your money, you're no longer welcome here.
Right. Yeah. So I don't think Trump. There's any evidence of Trump doing any sort of business or hanging out with Epstein after he was convicted the first time.
Yeah.
Unlike Bill Gates, who actually met up with him and did a bunch of stuff.
And let me tell you something else. A bunch of my physicist friends went to the island.
Yeah.
Stephen Hawking.
Stephen Hawking went to the island?
Yeah, with Kip Thorne, who got the Nobel Prize. And a bunch of this guy who runs Santa Barbara, if we want to get into all the dirt, I forget his name now, guy who runs the Santa Barbara Institute of Physics, spent a lot of time there. A lot of people, and this guy Seth Lloyd, MIT, who's a very good physicist, by the way. Now, I'm not saying I think let me say this, when the physicists were there, I don't think there was any hanky-panky going on.
No.
That was
he held a lot of big events there.
Yeah,
he brought a lot of people there, and that was part of his operation. it was easier to get high level people with money like Bill Gates if you see that, look, all these other high level academics and physicists and scientists are going there. What's wrong with me going there? You're not going to think twice about it.
Well, the same thing happened. See, Werner Erhard did the same thing, but Werner Erhard was not into sex or anything like that.
Right.
With me, because Werner Erhard was supporting us. This is back in the 70s, and he did the same thing that Epstein did. But he was not involved in anything, ulterior like that. I mean, there was nothing. It was nothing with kids or anything like that.
Right.
But they also had all these famous Feynman and Lenny Susskind and all the famous Hawking and Kip Thorne. They all went there here and said this was in San Francisco. So that was and Werner was also an intelligence agent. I'm not sure for who. It could be the Mossad. But probably CIA, but it could be the Russians actually, because he went to Russia afterwards. So I don't know who he was, but it was definitely part of the intelligence.
Right. All right.
So that's a standard thing they do. Yes.
Yeah. I want to get into the warp drive stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Can we talk about that? Can you explain to me your warp drive theory and how that works?
I'll try. Okay, the warp drive theory. Okay, so now it's a little bit. Okay, I'll use. If you look at Bob Lazar's videos, where he talks about gravity A and gravity B, when he talks about you said the flying saucer falling freely through space.
Yes.
Okay, that's what it is. But now, what it is Einstein's theory of general relativity about gravity. Gravity is the bending of the space itself. It's the warping of space itself. What's called curvature. The curvature of space and time is gravity. This is, okay? So gravity is, space and time itself is like there's an electromagnetic field. There's a space-time field. It's a field.
Okay.
The gravity field is space-time. It's no difference.
Okay.
If you can control gravity, you control space and time. I mean, that's time travel. Okay. The problem has always been, everybody knew this.
This episode is brought to you by Blue Chew. Let's talk about sex. Fellas, do you remember the days when you were always ready to go? Now you can increase your performance and get that extra confidence boost in bed. Listen up. BlueChew.com. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, except it comes in a chewable tablet and it's only a fraction of the cost. The beautiful thing is you can take them anytime, day or night, so you can plan ahead and always be ready when that special opportunity arises. The process is super simple. Just sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. And the best part is it's all done online. So no visits to doctor's offices, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Blue Chew's tablets are made right here in the USA, and they're prepared and shipped directly to your door in a discreet package. Of course, first impressions are very important, but no one ever talks about the lasting impressions. Women say there's nothing sexier than confidence, and Blue Chew will give you the confidence where it counts. Try Blue Chew for free by using the promo code Koncrete at checkout. It's KONCRETE, and all you gotta pay is $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com using the promo code Koncrete at checkout to get your first month free. Visit BlueChew.com for more important details and safety information, and we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this episode. Back to the show.
The problem has always been that the strength of the gravitational interaction, I don't want to say force, they say force, that's not, interaction is not a force. Gravity is not a force, the way electricity is a force. But the strength of the interaction of gravity with matter is normally very weak. Okay? And so energy, if I have a concentration of energy in the volume, what's called a stress energy density, it's called, will warp space-time. So if I had enough energy, and if I could shape that energy distribution properly, I can make space-time warp any way I want it to. Okay? That's what these machines we see are doing. That's what they're doing. The problem has always been that when you put in the numbers of Einstein's actual equations, the coupling is so weak that it takes impossible amount of energy to accomplish that task. Okay? But we know from Ryan Graves and Commander Farava, from the Tic Tac and all this stuff, what we see them doing that's what they are controlling gravity, but with small amounts of energy. So there's something missing in our physics.
Okay.
Okay, that's the missing link. That's what I solved.
The energy, right?
Yeah, but the energy barrier. And so the thing is this: I would say right away, as soon as it's warp drive, like when Kevin Knuth and all these guys at the congressional meeting said, "Thing is going hundreds of G's. That's impossible," because inside the ship, they're weightless. Remember, I told you, inertial observers, you're in a space suit floating through space.
Right.
Inside, that's the correct part of what Lazar says, where the thing is, the ship is falling freely, like it's falling through space, weightless. When you fall, you're weightless.
Right.
Okay. Like on the space, it's on the space station, it's going around orbit, they're floating around. Because they're not firing their rocket engines or anything. They're floating around.
Right. So
what they're doing, the ship is, it's like on the space station, but it has maybe that little fusion reactor, whatever, that it has a control system where it's able to change the shape of the space around it.
Yes.
So it can control any way it wants to go.
Yes.
So even though on the outside it's going at 5,000, it's called kinetic acceleration. There's no the G-force, the actual G, inside they're weightless.
Exactly.
Okay, outside they really are moving as if they're going 5,000 G and, a million, zillion, jillion miles a second. But inside they're weightless. So we understand that right away.
Yeah.
Easy.
Right.
Easy conceptually, anybody understands about that. But the CIA director doesn't understand it yet. I don't think so. Haynes, none of these, they don't understand it. They don't understand it yet. I'm trying to explain to them. They don't understand it. Favreau doesn't understand it. Ryan Graves doesn't understand it. I can explain it to them. And when I tried to explain it to Chris Mellon, he got mad. He didn't want to hear it. He said, "No, you don't know." Why did he say that? This guy, Christopher Mellon, he's a schmuck. He's a schmuck. But when it comes to science, what is Christopher Mellon telling Jack Sarfatti that he knows more physics than Jack Sarfatti?
I don't think he would claim to know more physics.
He did. Well, he effectively did. He said, "No." He said, "Yeah, you can't be so sure." I think he was trying to put it down. You can't be so sure. It's 1,000 years from now. We won't know. And he's never taken a physics course.
Right.
And here the CIA is working on this. I mean, he's a stupid guy who shouldn't be in the position. He's a Mellon. This guy, and by the way, his cousin, John Warner, is a friend of mine. His cousin agrees with me. They have the same grandfather. They grew up together. John says, "Yeah, my cousin's an idiot."
That's incredible.
Okay, John Warner, who was Senator Warner's son. His stepmother was Elizabeth Taylor, and all that. All right. So a Navy Secretary of the Navy, all into UFOs. Okay, so both John Warner and Chris Mellon, we all agree UFOs are real. It's a threat.
Right. Is it a threat?
Of course it's a threat. Yes.
How is it a threat?
It's a threat because some of them are not friendly, because there are many different. There's not just one.
Which ones aren't friendly?
Well, I don't know. The ones who contacted me presumably are friendly, but there are people who've been hurt. That's what Jacques Vallée's working on. That's what Garry Nolan's working on.
Right.
They're working on the blood. They said at least
people have died.
Yeah, gotten sick. Now, it may not be deliberate. It may because you see, that's what, okay. In my theory, I explain when you have anti-gravity, if you're under, okay, if there's a UFO hovering and you stand under it, you're not going to live long. You're going to get radiation.
Radiation, yeah.
Because it's what's called the blue shift, okay?
Yeah, explain the blue-red shift, how that works.
Okay.
That's really interesting.
This is basic physics. If you have an attractive force field, and you're like in what's called, if it's a negative potential energy and you're down like toward the bottom, what's called the gravity well, and you want to get out of it, if you want to get out, you have to, like walking up the hill. Okay,
yes.
Okay, walking up the hill, you got to exert energy. You're losing energy.
Mm-hmm.
So when light does that, light is a photon, is a packet of energy, where the energy is proportional to the frequency. So in order for the light to escape the gravity field, it's losing some of its energy, just the way you're expending energy by burning food, walking up the hill.
Mm-hmm.
So losing some of its energy. So the frequency goes down. That's the redshift. So that's okay. The redshift means, that's not ionizing. That's lower the energy, then you can't do much damage. It's just like heat, it's low energy.
Red light.
Yeah, like reddish light, the redshift. But with anti-gravity, it's the opposite. With anti-gravity, it's like you're at the top of the hill. Okay, but at the top of the hill, you're on a scooter. One of these scooters. In fact, they do. You're on a skateboard. You're on a skateboard, and you're gaining energy.
Yes.
And that's the photon. So the photons increase its frequency. That's blue, and it gets an ionized. That's like it's like a nuclear bomb. Gamma rays, high energy gamma ray, high energy light. So the what happens is the light escaping from below the thing. It's anti-gravity, right? Because it's hovering. It's the anti-gravity is canceling the Earth's gravity.
Right.
So it's just hovering there. But radiation, any kind of light energy that's coming from the thing, it gets enough energy, it ionizes the air molecules, and that causes ionization. And that if it's really high energy, it's the same as a bomb. It's like radioactivity. It's like the effects of a nuclear bomb blast. Obviously, it's happened because these people are getting radiation sickness.
Right. Oh, that was on. I think it was on the PDF you sent me. It really described it nicely, where it shows you the person and it shows the spacecraft moving towards you or away.
Oh
from
yeah.
you.
Okay. Yeah. That's the Sarfatti discovery. That's one of my discoveries. So one of my predictions. Normally, the Doppler shift, the motional Doppler shift. If a locomotive with a whistle is coming toward you, the pitch goes up, right?
Right.
And then if it's going away from you, the pitch goes down.
Yep.
With the UFO, it's going to be the opposite. As the UFO comes toward you, if you have the right, if you're Commander Fravor in your F-18 and you have the right instruments, okay, but Doppler radar with frequency shifts and stuff like that, when you see the thing is coming toward you, it's approaching you, the frequencies are going to be lower, redshifted, just the opposite of what you'd expect from the Doppler shift, and the opposite the other way too.
So when it's coming towards you, the frequencies get lower.
Yes.
And when it gets farther away, they get higher.
Yeah, and if you see that is smoking gun. That's warp. Then that's a warp drive shift.
It's a warp drive.
Yeah, very simple. That's Jack Sarfatti predict. I'm the first one to say that. That's my prediction from the theory, and Frank Milburn, who wrote these.
So why is it the opposite of a train?
Because that's just the way. Because I explained. Because that was the gravity thing. If you think about it, you see gravity is different from motion. It's not motion.
Got it.
All right.
Okay, that makes sense.
It's just
yes.
So they work opposite to each other.
Right.
Okay. So that's how you can tell. If the ship is moving through air, if it's ordinary motion, you'll get a regular Doppler shift. If it's warping space, you get the opposite. So it's a very simple experimental thing that the military should have by now. But they're so stupid. Maybe they have it. Okay, maybe they do have it.
But aren't the top scientists from around the globe working for the government, working in these companies?
No, because
like
they're stupid. Because they don't listen to me. Okay, because they're dumb.
Were the Jason scientists dumb?
Well, back then, the Jasons, I didn't know any of this stuff. I was a kid then. That was too many years ago.
But you don't think we still have programs like this with super?
No,
geniuses?
because they're too stupid. They don't. Well, some of them are. Maybe not. We now, Lawrence Berkeley Laboratory is done in secret. See, I didn't know this until 2 days ago, 3 days, 4 days, a few days ago. Last week, I find out that at Lawrence Berkeley Lab, they have this big warp fusion reactor, and they're testing the Sarfatti equation. They haven't done. That's just. I think it's a proposal.
Have you trademarked this?
What?
The Sarfatti equation?
Yes, that's what they call it. The Sarfatti. Yes.
Who calls it that?
What?
Who calls it that?
Who?
Who calls it the Sarfatti equation?
The guys on Lawrence Livermore.
They all call it that?
It's in their publication.
Wow.
Yeah. They got it from my paper. I mean, they're smart. There's a guy there. The guy in charge, it's a PhD, named Michael G. Anderson. Mm-hmm. He's in charge of their laser fusion stuff. Mm-hmm. This is for some ones, nuclear weapons, right? And apparently, according to Larry Lemke, who works with Jacques Vallée and Garry Nolan, they must have been, because they quote a paper of mine from 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay.
So they've been working on this thing secret.
Okay. Now, how do the metamaterials fit into this?
Okay, well, wait. But first, that's the metamaterials. Okay, what they're doing at Lawrence Berkeley Livermore is not metamaterials. It's plasma. It's what's it called? It's a heavy ion fusion, plasma fusion. It's a different thing. It's not metamaterials.
But when it comes to the spacecraft and the way it moves, the way you just explained it with the ionization of the light.
The metamaterial and all these guys like Harold Putoff and Louis Elizondo and even Mellon, they all talk about, and Eric Davis, they talk about metamaterials, but they never explain how the metamaterials help. All they say is that, well, it looks as though these are the stuff from the Roswell crash.
They explain it like a foil that crumples up. They let go.
Well, that's what I was telling you. That's what Don Rich had.
Exactly.
He had that. But he didn't know about metamaterials. He's not a scientist.
Right.
He didn't have an electron microscope to look at it. He didn't have the stuff Garry Nolan has. He didn't know. So the thing is this. Okay, so what I have a theory, and we're working on it now, that by pumping the metamaterial with enough resonant electromagnetic energy, we create what's called it's basically like a room temperature superconductor. It's called a Frothic condensate. It's like a laser. It's analogous to a laser, but the stuff that's lasing are what are called quasi-particles that are just emergent properties of the material itself. So it doesn't go out into vacuum. Right? It's like the material itself develops a new kind of quantum mechanical phase where it's coherent. It's basically, it could be used as a room temperature superconductor, but the point is you have to keep pumping it with energy. It's like a laser, you have to keep supplying it with energy.
Okay.
And that's us. We are that too. Biologically, we're lasers. Because what do you think?
We're lasers?
Yeah, we're biological lasers. The math of life is the same as the math of the laser. Very similar.
Wow.
This is a guy. These are guys in Germany who've developed this. I forget what those guys' name. I have the books here. I got the books right there.
You have a ton of books in here.
Yeah, and so in any case, so the point is, see, this is how the consciousness and the warp drive are connected. See, it's all the same physics. When George Koopman in 1975 says, Jack, the CIA wants to know, 1, how does consciousness work? 2, how do the flying saucers fly?
Whoa.
It's Janus. It's the two sides of the. It's like Janus, the Janus, the Gestalt shift. It's the same physics. Two aspects. It's duality. It's what Lenny Susskind calls ER equals EPR. It's general relativity equals quantum mechanics. I'm simplifying.
So are you saying that these craft are operated through the mind? Like they think about what they're going to do and their consciousness is directly connected to how these things propel through the universe?
Exactly. That's what the guy, that's what they told me in 1953. It was a conscious... Whoa. It is conscious. This is the metamaterial. First of all, is both a conscious artificial intelligence. I'll call it a quantum. It's really a post-quantum computer. It's all built into the same architecture. This is called nanotechnology. A lot of it's all done. Okay, what's happening now? The chips, the Apple chip, my M1 chip, is 5 nanometer technology. This is my laptop. I have a M1. Do you have an Intel?
No, I got the same thing you got.
Okay, so they're coming out. The M3 is going to be, I think, 2 or 3 nanometers. The M3 chip's coming out in a year or 2.
Okay.
Okay, it's going to be a lot more powerful. For you guys, that'll be great because you'll need it because of what you do. Okay. And the only useful thing Eric Davis, I have a fight with Eric Davis.
Who's Eric Davis?
He's a physicist like me, except he's a second-rate physicist. He didn't go to Ivy League schools. He didn't have the, he was a military guy, and they went to Arizona. He went to, he's one of my competitors.
Okay, he's a schmuck then.
He's a schmuck, but he's all right. I could. Eventually, all these guys. Eventually, we'll probably all work together.
Right.
It's like Donald Trump talking about. Who's the guy, the Texas Ted Cruz? Remember when they were competing and then they're working together, right?
Right.
It'll have to happen because Christopher Mellon and Louis Elizondo, they won't have any choice because the physics, like Lawrence Livermore now saying Sarfatti. I mean, Eric Davis was going around saying Sarfatti's crazy. His physics doesn't work. And meantime, he's pushing physics, which I know Hal put us, physics doesn't work. So there's this conflict because they're trying to get money. See, it's a money thing. Follow the money. Okay? But now, if Lawrence Livermore, they're going to test. So if the test works, that's proof of concept. Then there's no question. So they're going to have to. Already the fact that Lawrence Livermore is taking my work seriously. Already Christopher Mellon, if he's smart, he'll come say, Jack, I'm sorry. Let's shake hands. Let's smoke the peace pipe and let's start working together. Like why can't we? Like RFK Jr. says. All right. So, I mean, I attack them because they're assholes. They've attacked me, so I attack back 10 times worse.
Do you think there's a plan? Do you think there is?
There's no plan because everybody's stupid.
There's no plan because nobody knows nobody know. The right hand doesn't know what the left.
The right hand doesn't know what the left hand, and that most includes it, but they don't know enough physics. The people in charge are stupid. They're not. When they start listening to me, they'll get smart. Seriously. There's nobody who knows more about this than I do. I mean, I'm going to be 84 years old.
You need to schmooze a little bit better.
No, I can schmooze. But I'm not. I won't. Fuck them. I don't care. I mean, the Russians invite me to Moscow.
Yeah. Didn't you say Putin sent some people here to talk to you?
Yes, twice.
Why did he do that?
Because he wants to know this technology. Then why did they invite me to Moscow a month ago? I can show you the papers. I was invited to Moscow. This was when Obama was president. Before any of this war stuff, we were still on friendly terms. Hillary Clinton was going to Russia. Obama was talking to Putin. This is when Obama was the president. Twice they came. And the first video, about a few months after they come and film me, and I've been talking. Putin's talking about all the stuff I was talking to the Russians on the video about quantum teleportation and this, and Russia's going to get the quantum computing. It's all, it's all. And then they came a second time. They came a second time in June of 2016 during the campaign. They wanted to talk about Donald Trump and Putin, because they knew I knew people who knew Trump. So that was just a political thing, and you can see that that's on the video. You can see
on RT.
No, I'll send you the link.
Okay.
It's on. No, it's Channel 5, St. Petersburg, which is owned by a close friend of Putin. And I was told in so many words. They didn't say. I was told. Basically, they told me elliptically, Putin monitors your stuff, Jack. They really like what you're doing in Moscow. And then I got invited to Moscow. I didn't go this time because of the war.
Wow.
All right. So so the Russians are working. The Russians are working this, and then. Then I have this guy. There's this guy. Do you watch History Channel? You don't watch
Not really.
Okay, yeah. You about the Skinwalker Ranch?
I know about it, yeah.
Okay, well, the physicists involved with the Skinwalker Ranch?
I don't know the physicists themselves, no.
Well, anyway, so any case, finally...
I've watched episodes of it.
I've never watched it. I've only watched parts of it. I've watched Trevor a little bit. But I guess I'm told that that a presentation about what I'm doing is going to be given to the Chief of Staff of the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, either maybe today or tomorrow or next week, very soon. Mm-hmm. So the Senate, they're beginning to wise up. And then there was the Angleton guy, who you could talk to. He spoke to the Chief of Staff, Marco Rubio, because he knows Marco, the politics in Florida there. Yep. And they were supposed to contact me. They never did. And this guy was Nelson, the head of NASA. He was an astronaut once.
Mm-hmm.
It's the head of NASA. They were supposed to contact me. They haven't yet. And who else? And then, and then Ron Pandolfi, another CIA guy.
Yeah, who's Ron Pandolfi? Jeremy Reeves mentioned that name to me.
Ron Pandolfi, I've known him now for, I don't know, almost 25, 30 years. Okay, Ronnie, and I know his brother. I met his kid. I know his kid. And Ronnie Pandolfi, okay, he's, I guess, in his 50s now. Maybe 60 already, or late 50s. Ronnie's uncle was some high CIA guy, one of the Pandolfi. They're like the Angletons, okay? Not quite, maybe, but, So when Ronnie went to UCLA, I think in physical chemistry, in like 1980 or so, got his PhD, and his uncle, Pandolfi, already got him say, come, we want you in the CIA. So he rose pretty quick, because he had PhD, he's a scientist, So he's the Science Technology Directorate, and apparently he worked for Christopher Green. You've heard of Chris Green, right? Christopher Green. He's the guy with the dead bodies, the aliens, and the guy with the blood, with Garry Nolan giving them the, Christopher, you just look, you got to do your homework. There's Hal Puthoff, Chris Green. These are guys, they're the guys who engineered the New York Times article with Leslie Kean. I was actually with them in London when they were doing it.
What?
Yes.
Chris Green?
Christopher Green, yeah. Kit Green. They call him Kit Green.
Okay. Anyway, keep going. I don't want to get you off. I don't want to get you off track.
Yeah. Harold Chipman. It was called Chip. Okay. Oh, his CIA name was Orwell.
Nice.
When he was doing Operation. Now it's
like
public.
that.
Orwell. Okay. I don't know what. And Christopher Green is Kit Green.
Kit Green.
Yeah. They were all MK Ultra. SRI. All this weird desk. So in any case,
Weird desk.
It's called the Weird Desk. And so when Ron goes into the CIA, his boss is Kit Green at the Weird Desk to evaluate all this UFO and all this paranormal stuff, Bob Bigelow and all these things going on, all this weird stuff going on. Uri Geller, all this stuff. And so they're all networked together. So because of Ron's background, and also Ron at some point, he's the guy or one of the guys that goes every morning to Reagan, and he did it with Reagan and Bush, I think. And as far as I know, but he told me, Clinton, and who was after Clinton? Obama and Trump. One of the team that would frequently, I don't know if he did it every day, he would go in the morning, the national intelligence estimate to the President of the United States, give him the information, sit there with the president. All these presidents, Pandolfi.
Wow.
My understanding, whether it's true, this is why. Now, maybe I'm a dummy. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking. But I'm saying this is what I was told. Okay.
By who?
By him. Well, by him and by other people.
Okay.
All right. So when Trump was president, okay. So first of all, Putin sends these guys. They asked me in June. This is right before Trump's 70th birthday. He's a candidate, and the Russians asked me, "What do I think is Trump's attitude about NATO? What do I think is Trump's attitude toward Vladimir Putin?" They want to know what I think. You'll see it's in there. And what do I think about Israel, about Syria, about Iran? I don't know what they are. I don't know. But they're asking me this for some reason. Okay, and I don't know what I said. So, I was talking. I know this guy Michael Savage. He's like, he was like a right wing guy. He's a close friend. He's a friend of. He's a Trump supporter, and he goes to Mar-a-Lago. His family are very well. They're billionaires. And they fly the private jets when they flew into Mar-a-Lago, all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
So obviously the Russians know all this, right? These guys who came, they know, because that was in 2011. They came came after that. It was already in Mar-a-Lago. So the Russians monitor. They're smart. I have a friend in London. Who is Sandhurst. Sandhurst, like the British West Point. And he was involved in the Army, the military intelligence, the British Army. Mm-hmm. He's a guy I have dinner with all the time. I belong to a club, where all these guys belong to it in London. And when he was, and when he left the Army, he went into, he was a special branch of the London Met. Special branch, okay? So part of his job is when Russians and people international to provide security for the Russians. This is back like in the 90s, the 80s, 90s, and up until recently, I think. And so he was telling me when he says, when the Russian intelligence, they have a word that this person, they have the term serious. I don't know what it is in Russian, but serious person. Serious person. There's schmuck and there's serious person.
Okay.
The Russians don't fuck around.
Okay.
And this guy, this English officer, telling me this. He said, the Russians, Putin considers Sarfatti a serious person.
Interesting.
Okay. I got this bullshit from Chris Mellon, who never took a physics course. He didn't know he didn't know anything, and I was trying to explain stuff to him, and he gets off telling me that don't be so sure about what you're saying. Now, it could be he knows what I'm saying is right, and he doesn't want people to know. See, there may be a legitimate reason he has.
Or maybe they walked him into the belly of Area 51 and they showed him exactly how it works. And they flew around in one of those things.
They're too stupid. I know. Either that. Okay. Let me try to be positive. See, one thing. Okay, I went to the ROTC at Cornell. I was in the ROTC. Everybody had to be in the military at Cornell in the 50s. Mm-hmm. And one of the things in the intelligence seminar. See, this is why people are really dumb. You have to get into the mind of the enemy. to understand their motivations. Be like you are. Any good cop knows this. A homicide detective, you get into a serial killer. You got to think about the serial killer, know what he's going to do. Okay.
Anticipate their next move.
Yeah. Okay. Right now, Christopher Mellon is an enemy of Jack Sarfatti. Colonel John Alexander's enemy of Jack Sarfatti. Eric, the enemy of Jack Sarfatti. Got a couple of maybe Elizondo's enemy of Jack Sarfatti. But I got to think.
I don't understand why they would want to be your enemy, though.
We argued over Donald Trump.
That's a dumb reason.
That's a dumb reason, but maybe. Okay, now I'm going to try to be not hostile to them. I'm going to do, because I look at RFK Jr., who's I respect RFK Jr. Even though I may disagree with about certain things about the vaccines, I'm not sure. I'm not a medical person. I don't know. But RFK, I see RFK Jr., and I can vote Democrat for him. But I see RFK Jr. This man is a thinking man. He's a serious person. He's an intellectual. He's noble. He's noblesse oblige. I mean, his family is sacrificed, and he's an intelligent man. He's open to reason, and he's authentic. He doesn't bullshit around, and he's a polite man. He says, "I will not say anything against any of my, my competitors."
Yeah. He doesn't like to talk shit about people.
Yeah, and I won't say anything against Donald Trump.
Right.
Okay, and so he's providing.
That's not who you are, though.
No, I'm like Donald Trump. I make Donald Trump.
Oh yeah, you're throwing bombs every which direction.
I come out with old guns blazing.
Yep,
absolutely, man. I mean, I'm from Brooklyn.
Yeah, New York Jew from Brooklyn. New York Jew,
and with the Jewish mafia yet. There's mafia connections.
Right.
There's all that stuff.
Exactly.
Goodfellas.
Exactly.
All right, what? I mean,
you
like
got
Trump
chutzpah.
says, you fuck around with the Sarfatti, I fuck you over 10 times.
See, that's interesting about you because you're unlike any academic in that way.
That's why I quit. I couldn't stand them.
Yeah.
That's why I quit. I quit academia 50 years ago.
Do you feel that there's sort of like
they're a bunch of pompous assholes. I mean, a lot of them are smart. I don't, they do good work. A lot,
right? But they don't have.
They're bubbles. And a lot of them are idiots too.
But a lot of them aren't as you mentioned.
And a lot of them are communists.
You mentioned this briefly earlier. You said that you were reading that quote out of the book over there.
Yeah.
That they wanted scientists who weren't afraid to speculate.
Oh, and yeah.
What I
that's
see
the CIA. That's the CIA.
The CIA. So what I see in academia and some of the most respected scientists and people in academia that are studying this stuff is they hate to speculate. Yeah. They don't like to. They don't like to talk about their feelings on things or their opinions on things because it can taint the science. It can taint the facts.
Yeah, and also there's another reason. The real reason, that's the public reason. That's their bullshit reason. Real reason is that they don't want to lose their grants.
Right.
It's all, the real reason is that every academic I know basically, not every, but most of them, they're all prostitutes. They're all whores. They'll go with the money. And to some extent, I may be a whore too. I'm not saying I'm any better than them.
Right.
But the thing is that's the way it works. That's human nature. I'm like a Catholic. Now I believe in original sin. It's original sin. The Catholics are right.
Right.
It's original sin.
Yeah, that's interesting.
We're all sinners.
That's really interesting. Do you feel like kind of like an outcast of academia or an outcast of physics in general?
Yes. Yeah. Well, no. But I was an outcast by choice, though. By choice. I couldn't. I just said, "Fuck you guys. I'm leaving." And also because I had the CIA say people were giving me money to Bob Tobin, starting with Bob Tobin. But okay, so I'm a Gilbert and Sullivan guy. In Gilbert and Sullivan, there's this opera called The Pirates of Penzance, which is actually a pretty good opera. And the story, I'm like the Pirate King in The Pirates of Penzance. The story is that these pirates were sinking ships and everything. But what they're all really members of Parliament. It's all a satire, right? Members of Parliament who rebelled. And because of the hypocrisy, there's a song, The Pirate King, for I am a pirate king, and I sally forth to seek my prey. I go forth in a royal way. I sink a few more ships, it's true, than a well-bred pirate ought to do. But many a man on a first-class throne, if he wants to call his crown his own, must manage to get through more dirty work than ever I do. Okay, this is a good song. So I'm like the pirate king. And at the end, of course, the opera, they all go back into the parliament. They take over the country. They take over. So listen, I'm Ivy League. Yeah, I'm a pumping. I'm white privilege guy, and Jewish to both. I'm the worst. Definitely white privilege. Went to Ivy League school, but privilege. Okay. What else do they say about? I have toxic masculinity. I'm not woke. Okay.
Yeah.
And either we're gonna take back the country.
Yeah, you're radioactive to this.
I'm radioactive, man. To these, I'm radioactive. But you see, so that's the other side.
But this is why it's easy for them to dismiss you, also.
Yes, because the Communist Party. Okay, now let me explain something. Okay, we were not going to get into politics, but there's no way to avoid it. Because the country, look, we're running on fumes. The country's falling apart.
Yeah.
I'll be right here. All the homeless, if you go down, not where I am, but you go down.
I'm shocked how little homeless there is here in San Francisco.
No.
Everyone was telling me how much of a dystopian hellhole.
Okay, but wait. No, you don't understand. You're right now in a it's like feudal. It's like you're right now in a privileged area of San Francisco.
Right. Sam Altman lives right next door to you.
Sam Altman's my next door neighbor. Steve Jobs' widow has a place up there, not far from here. There's all kinds of powerful people, billionaires that live here, and I mean, if something happens here, if I call the cops and I say there's cops will be here in 2 minutes.
Right.
All right, it's not that way in other,
Right.
So as I say, as my friend, Michael Corella, friend of Jerry Brown, he was a philosophy professor at San Diego State when I was a professor there, he says, when booking passage on the Titanic, it's best to go first class. We are on the Titanic. I see the, hey, we're going to go into that glacier, man. We're going to sink.
Yeah.
But nobody's paying attention. The band, they're just playing. They're just, they're all, so whatever.
Have you, getting back to the UFO stuff, have you heard about what Garry Nolan talks about in regards to the human brain? He talks specifically about, I think it's the basal ganglia. He did some
okay, this is Garry. I'm not, I am, okay.
So what he did was he studied a huge group of people, and he found out that
they have certain structures.
They have extra structures in like the certain part of their brain, and those people are more in tune to the UFO phenomenon.
Yeah, they were contactees. So okay. So you see that? Okay, I believe. Okay, first of all, I'm not a medical person. I don't know anything about. I know certain things, and I know, a smart man, and when we learned in PhD, but a PhD does, you don't know everything, but you know when you don't know.
Right.
And you know how to get information to find out as much, that's the talent. That's what a PhD level means. And guys like Chris Mellon, they don't know that. Louis Alzheimer, they're lower level. I mean, they don't respect, they don't realize that they should respect the Sarfatti. But in any case, but that's what I was telling you about Walter Breen in the crash. I think it's a Roswell. Let's assume it's a Roswell crash. And then he claims he suddenly got superpowers. Mm-hmm. So that's consistent that something happened. They zapped him and he got these powers. So probably Uri Geller, same thing happened with Uri Geller. Uri Geller, a beam of light went into his head when he was 5-6 years old. Around the same time I was getting my phone calls, maybe a few years difference. And then he got the power to bend the metal, he claims. Mm-hmm. And then there's this guy at the time who witnessed this. It was a young soldier, about 19 years old, Israeli defense soldier, who saw this happen, saw the thing come down, the orbital light, and zap Geller, who later came out only recently. He was a general in the Mossad and the IDF, saying, yes, I didn't want to say until I retired, but he witnessed this incident with Uri Geller. Okay? So everything that Garry Nolan says, and I accept Garry Nolan's expertise. I don't know what he knows.
Angle that mic that way a little bit.
Yeah.
Towards you. Just grab it and turn it.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah. We're just trying to optimize.
So the answer is I support whatever Garry Nolan says in his field. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he supports me because he works with Chris Mellon. So Garry Nolan has to decide which side he's on, or he has to get the sides to come together.
Yeah. So going back to that, there's also a connection to like paranormal shit too.
Well, that's what I'm telling you. Yeah.
So he in his studies, it was not just people who were able to experience or witness these UFOs. It was also the same people had more paranormal experiences.
Of course,
and then
like I have had.
Like you have had.
Well, I just tell you all this weird shit that's happening. Right.
That's
paranormal.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of paranormal.
Of course.
But like, if you listen, I don't know if you've ever heard Bob Bigelow talk about poltergeists.
Yes, of course.
He talks about hearing poltergeists in his house and seeing ghosts.
Okay, and it's not just him. It's John Ramirez. It's a CIA guys. John Ramirez.
Viewing shit.
Yeah. Remote viewing. That's what Hal put off in Russell Targ. And the remote viewing. I know some of that is real because I experienced that with Marshall Navy. I was like literally back in ancient Egypt.
Yeah, but you were taking LSD.
Yes. And I was there. I mean, it was like, it was like spectacular VR. I mean, I don't think my brain is that good. It could do that. Yeah. God. But, it was like I was there. It was mental time travel. Alan Wolf has written a book about this, his experience on these psychedelics. Picasso, he went, with the shamans in South America. You should read his book. He talks about it. And then it's in, Gladstone talks about it there, his trips. But I actually, with Marshall Navy, I went back. I was in some ancient Egyptian emerald temple.
Temple.
An emerald temple.
Wow.
Yeah, with these like the gods of Egypt, the ancient gods of Egypt. I was with them, and they're like coming back. They're like ETs. So it could have been a real contact. And then I was also a Knights Templar, and I got the spear. I got the spear in my leg or something, like the spear Longinus or something. I remember it was on the battlefield with the spear. Oh, and then I was also a soldier in World War II in the trenches and got killed.
Oh, wow.
So these are LSD experiences.
Wow.
So like I was like somebody else's mind, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is real. And this only happened with Marshall Navy, who's a very unusual guy, who by using his psychic powers, he died, I guess, in 1980 worth $4 billion, which, is not as much as some of these guys out. But back then, this is pre-internet, all this crazy stuff.
What is your opinion on some of the work John Mack has done?
Okay. In fact, I know a kid. In fact, what? I know this kid.
These UFO experiencers, these abductees.
Yeah, I know John Mack. He's a friend of mine. I knew him.
You knew him personally?
Of course, yes. He's part of the whole thing.
Right.
Of course. We're all connected.
What is your opinion on everything he's done in specific? Like, it seems like there's more.
I support him 100%.
It seems like there's more of these sightings around schools involving young children.
Well, that's what happened to me. They want to teach it to young receptive minds so they can instill with their stuff. Yeah, of course. The answer is yes. Everything's John. And John, I still think, although I get a lot of pushback, I still think that John was assassinated. I was with John right before he went to London and got himself killed in San Francisco here. And he had just come off the Caribbean. He was on a yacht with Werner Erhard, one of the guys who had funded me. There's a whole thing here.
Really?
Yeah. And he was going. And you see, John was also, he had double life. John, got a Pulitzer Prize.
Right.
For T.E. Lawrence, biography, Lawrence of Arabia.
Lawrence of Arabia.
Okay. Separate from his. And John went up to Oxford or Cambridge to give a seminar on Lawrence of Arabia. He was getting a prize on Lawrence of Arabia. And when he came back, it was midnight. And I know the area, it's this big street. It's a well-lit street. I mean, come on, it's a well-lit street. There was no traffic. And this guy from Czechoslovakia said he was drunk, an immigrant from Czechoslovakia, on a truck runs him down. Come on now. And they said,
So he looked the wrong way.
They said, look the wrong way, which happens. But this is a broadly, like a boulevard, bright lights, and he was right across the street. So even a truck could have seen him a mile away. Mm-hmm. The guy said he was drunk. This was an assassination because I'm pretty sure, and I don't care what his family and what these assholes tell me. No, don't say that. I'll say it. I think he was assassinated because he was involved in intelligence operations. John, all these Harvard. These are all part of the CIA stuff. So, he was involved something with the Islamist, revolution and things going on around that time. So I think he was hit. Also, I have another friend who was in the French intelligence who was assassinated in the same way that Harold Shipman was. A guy from the French intelligence, Jean-Raison Nadal, who I knew, and who was actually working with Francois Truffaut, who played the French scientist, who plays Francois Truffaut, plays Jacques Vallée in Close Encounters of the Third Kind, where I got Vallée into the Hollywood connection through the party that Francis Coppola gave at his house in 1976 with Spielberg and all these guys, Zemeckis, all these guys were there, and that's how he connected. And but Francois Truffaut was involved in an intelligence operation with my French friend Jean Nadal, who I knew in San Francisco, and I'm not going to go into everything. He was working for the French CIA, and he had found some stuff connected with people, maybe with the Russians. I know something. He had found out. Oh yeah, they were going to assassinate. This is 1977. There was a plot to assassinate Nelson Rockefeller, who was still alive. Rockefeller died in the same. Okay. And there was stuff, the Union. There was all the kind of stuff. In any case, he and Truffaut knew about it. And this was when we were up. Oh, this was when we were up in the. I still had the apartment opposite that Lawrence Rockefeller was paying for our PCRG apartment. It's in Hippie State Physics. And Jean is up there, and John says he feels his life is in danger. This information, and he says if something happens to me, and he's holding my arm. He says if something happens to me, please, investigate it. A year goes by. Somehow somebody tells me, my French army, another French friend of mine, my friend Michel, whose father was a general in the French army. He's like, I hang out with all these guys. And he says, Jean Nadal is being buried in Père Lachaise Cemetery. Sudden cancer. Yeah, it was like polonium. I'm sure it was polonium poisoning. Yeah, he was killed the same way Harold Shipman was killed. Francois Truffaut dies suddenly not too long after. Just look and see how when Truffaut died. Okay? So guys get whacked, have gotten whacked. And this fits right in what Grusch is saying, too. Remember David Grusch was talking about?
Yeah, of course.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know.
What did he say about people getting whacked?
Well, I don't know, because you heard, but he didn't say much, because he can't say much. I don't. Was he implying it's the CIA killing people, or our own guys killing them, or who knows who? I don't know.
What do you think about what he said about there's actual bodies, that we have possession of bodies?
Yeah, well, I know that. I mean, that's
you know it?
Well, I don't know it for sure. I haven't seen the bodies, but I know it from because I believe what Colonel Corso said. Colonel Corso said he saw, and other people said. I don't know that directly. I haven't seen it myself, but Kit Green basically says it. So I believe Kit Green. I know Kit Green.
Do you think they're planning on disclosing it to the public eventually, or do you think they're just going to hide it forever?
It's already been disclosed. Right now, that's what the war is about now, right? It's reality war.
About.
It's reality.
It's a war on reality?
It's a war on, I call it reality war. Right? Yeah, we don't know what's real. This deep fakes, what you could do with deep fakes now, you could have anybody saying anything they want.
Yeah.
Okay. So I am a reality man. I am a puppet master to some extent. Because of my intellect and because of my education, seriously, and I see big pictures. I'm putting together a narrative. I'm giving you my narrative.
Right.
Okay? What we are, we're still cavemen. We're back in the cave. We're around the campfire, right?
Right.
Cub Scouts.
Right.
We're telling you story with the Martian. They're coming. The boogeyman's going to come against you. But we're still, though, we're like apes. We're intelligent apes. We're still sitting around. Everything depends on stories. We've all been sold stories. I'm giving you my story. I'm shaping a narrative, the Sarfatti narrative, what reality is. You could take it or leave it. Of course, I could be wrong. There's what's called uncertain knowledge. All we can do is take pieces of information and then we try what's called, in artificial intelligence, is a landscape and optimization. This is what AI, what Sam Altman's algorithms are doing. I'm like an algorithm. We're all algorithms, but we're conscious algorithms. And we're doing exactly what it is. We're trying to optimize. Yeah. We have all these pieces of information. Any piece by itself is very uncertain. And we're trying to make a coherent story out of it. I'm giving you the Sarfatti story, which I think And I could be wrong, and I'm willing, as new information comes in, I change my story. I adapt to new information. I weigh it. It's called Bayesian probability.
Yeah,
Bayesian,
that's a very good way of putting it.
Yeah, and I'm giving you what I think is the best optimum fit to all the data that I have. What is the best storyline? What's the best narrative to give a coherent understanding of reality? Now, if somebody else... I welcome anybody to come and you tell me your story of these events. You tell me, get this guy Mick West. He thinks he knows. Yeah, he's a schmuck. All he does is look at the Favreau video, the Tic Tac video.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't care. He may be right about that. I don't give a damn whether that video is real or not. That's one little piece of data over a vast thing of data, and we can throw that out, and there's still plenty of convincing information.
Right.
Okay, that fits. Plus, I have the physics to explain it. See, that's what I have that they don't have. They're still thinking of things going through air and stuff like that. They don't know.
What about the idea that a lot of these UFOs are living under the oceans?
Oh, yeah. That I know is true.
You know that's
I
true,
got to be careful now. I have to be very careful. Now I'm like David Grusch because I've been told classified information, not from the American government, from a different government. I've been told classified information where if I say too much, I got to be very careful that a guy I work with can get in a lot of trouble. I'm like David Grusch in this thing. I'm in the same position Grusch is in. Got to be, this is real. Not that I would, maybe I would get in trouble too. I don't know. But the answer is yes. I know for sure. I have all kinds of details. And I even know where in one case. But I don't want to go into it because until this guy decides to come public, the answer is yes, I know a tremendous amount about it, and the answer is yes, 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 yes. 500 miles, yeah. They're under, a lot. In fact, most of them maybe they're based, they're coming, they definitely, and very, very much so. And I have privy information.
What government?
That'll give it away.
Can you tell me what government it's not? Is it not the U.S. or is it?
All I can say is not the U.S.
It's not the U.S.
That's it. That's all I'm going to say. All right.
So it's Israel.
Well, no, I didn't say that.
Is this a program that is controlled by human beings?
Yeah, he's military.
It's a military program.
Military program, and this guy was trying to figure it out, reverse engineer it. He had it every day. It was it. Go in every day to work with this.
So these things that are underwater are military things?
No, I didn't. They're not our military.
They're not our military.
No. We're talking about ET. We're talking about NA.
We're talking about ETs.
We're talking about the same thing Grusch is talking about.
Okay.
Talking about the same thing Phil Corso and Rick Doty talk about. Rick Doty, if you go look at some of my stuff, Rick Doty, Air Force Intelligence retired, has a chat. People don't like him, but I like him. And Rick Doty talks about the same kind of machine that Phil Corso talks about, that my guy worked on. May not be the same kind of machine, but I'm not saying it's the actual same machine. Same kind of machine my guy worked on that's identical, okay? And the machine is real, and it was this was at a U.S. All I can say is a U.S. military base. I know where that base is. I don't think the machine may not be there now because it was years ago, but I have a good guess where it is now, at least where one of these machines are now, which I cannot say.
Is this machine recovered or is this machine...
It's intact. It's operational.
It wasn't reverse engineered. It was recovered.
Yeah, no, this is an actual machine. This is I don't know how they got it. This one, maybe it's the Roswell. No, it's something else. Something else landed or was let. They said they found it. You remember what Grusch said? Somebody said there like 12 or 30 of them. There are a bunch of them.
Going back to the 30s.
Yeah, that's Italy. That's my Italian friends.
Right.
They have the access to all those records, the Mussolini records.
Speaking of Doty, I just watched my first ever, the guy you punched in the face, or almost punched in the face.
Oh, Stephen Greer.
Stephen Greer.
No, I didn't punch him back down. We're getting to the point. He would have killed me. He's big, he's muscular. I'm a little Jewish schmuck. He's like Charles. He's like the Hulk. He's on steroids.
Yeah,
right?
Is he on steroids?
He looked like he was.
He's
goofy. That would explain a lot, wouldn't it?
So he, in one of his documentaries, I was watching on YouTube.
Yeah.
He was asking Richard Doty about false flag operations.
Yeah.
And Richard Doty's like, I can't talk about that. That's too classified.
Yeah. No, there are false flag operations. Latest one was January 6th, but I won't get into that.
So when it comes to UFO stuff,
Yeah, there are a lot of false flags, sure.
what's the point of that?
Well, I don't. Now you're asking me stuff that I don't. Yeah, as a physicist, I don't really care. There are a lot of stupid schmucks who in the intelligence agencies. They're idiots like John Brennan. We have these incompetent idiots who never should have gotten there. Some of them are communist moles like James G. Zangler, and they have all seen. We can't handle it. Whatever reasons they have. Some of them because they were working maybe for the Soviet intelligence. They didn't want us to know. Who the hell knows? People have different motives for being idiots and for keeping the truth. Yeah, what does RFK say? Say what RFK Jr. says. There's a lot of evil people, stupid people, and they have different motives for being evil and keeping the truth from the public. Right now, we're being kept from the truth. It's like Orwell, right? 1984. I see stuff, and I'm a subscriber to the London Times, the New York Times. I see stuff what they're saying, and then I see stuff from intelligence people I know. And it's just opposite. The London Times, right? They say, Ukraine's winning. You look at the map, Ukraine's not winning. Everything, all this stuff. And it's just the opposite.
That's a crazy thing about the media. I have firsthand knowledge of an example of the New York. I don't know if it was the New York Times or one of the big. It was one of the top 2 or 3 biggest newspapers in the country. A friend of mine, Jack Murphy, who's an ex-Army Ranger. Yeah. He's now a journalist, and he reports on different sort of like military stories. Kind of like the subculture of the military, and reports on corruption and stuff. Yeah. He's based in New York. He was working on a big story for over a year about the CIA using a NATO proxy spy service to do sabotage operations in Russia, blow up railroad tracks, burn down ammunition warehouses and stuff like that.
Nord Stream pipeline.
That wasn't part of this, but this was before that. It was sabotage operations where the CIA would not be legally allowed to be doing that. Yeah. And so they're using a NATO ally. Yeah. So this big article that he wrote, this big story.
How many years ago was this?
This was this past year.
Oh, this past
year. Or this was 2022 rather. Last year.
So it could have been what was the pipeline? Was that just now, recently pipeline?
The pipeline was also, I think, last year.
Yeah. No, maybe it was the beginning of 2023.
I think it was 2022 was the pipeline. Okay. Right. The beginning of 2022.
Well, they did the pipeline too.
So maybe. Yeah. Anyways, the point is he was getting ready to publish this big story with one of these top 3 newspapers in the U.S. Yeah. And right before they pressed the button, his editor at that newspaper said, "Hey, we got to get on the call with the CIA deputy director."
Yeah, of course.
And he got a 3-way call with the deputy director of the CIA, and he said, "No, this is completely false." He's like, "This is not not true."
So we don't know what to believe.
So he said, we can't verify this at all." So he said, "Okay, that's fine. We'll put it.
They call that. There was a book about that. There's a movie about it too. What they call that when they crush a story. There's a term.
Well, here's what happened.
Okay.
He said, "Okay, fine. We're just going to put that in a footnote of the story that you denied all this stuff. Okay. That you said it's false, right?" So it's like, great. They got off the phone, whatever. They hung up the phone. The story never got published. He called his editor at that newspaper the next day. He's like, "What's the deal?" Like, we're not going to publish the story. Because the deputy director of the CIA has an off-the-record agreement. So if they don't agree with it, it just doesn't get published.
Yeah. So it's bullshit.
It's crazy.
No, it's not crazy. We're living in a banana republic. There is no real freedom in America anymore. We are no different from Russia, except we're a little more subtle. And we're getting less subtle about it. The Bidens are getting unsubtle.
Well, I mean, technically, it's not like he didn't have the freedom. And he was able to self-publish it in his own website. It's just that
who
publisher
reads his website?
Right, exactly. Exactly. It's a form of suppression.
They're suppressing the information. Yeah. And we're living in and it's getting worse. We're losing our Constitution, the Bill of Rights. We're losing it. But RFK Jr. says it. Look, they're doing it to him. Yeah. So I mean, I would definitely, if Trump is eliminated, it looks like he will be now with all this.
I don't know. I think this stuff, these indictments, I think these are helping him.
Well, it'll help, yeah. But the point is, they may also rig the election. We don't know that. There's ways to. When I say rig the election, they can also not just changing the votes and fake votes, but through the algorithms of Google and stuff like that. Like they suppress the information on a Hunter laptop.
Right.
Things like that.
Right.
And through the media, and through all I see the Times radio in UK, London, and I'm a subscriber, and I used to read it. I still read it for other things, but they're giving totally opposite picture from what Colonel McGregor and other people I know are saying. And then you look at the map, there's objective, you can see. Institute for the Study of War, which is, I think, a British think tank. I'm not sure. Maybe it's just Washington. And they show, the front line. And they show what's being contested, like how much Russia has, what the Ukrainians are trying to have. And you see, they haven't, since the beginning of the offensive, they haven't done anything, but they've killed hundreds, I don't know how many tens of thousands of Ukrainian soldiers. It's a meat grinder.
Right. It is. Yeah, it really is.
So it's terrible. It's all because Biden got bribed by oligarchs who gave Hunter millions of dollars because the country, we're falling apart.
If you want to keep your funding, you better shut up about politics, Jack.
No, but that doesn't.
Right.
Actually, it seems that my funders like what I'm doing in that regard.
Right.
Okay.
Well, good. You don't have to worry about being a scientific prostitute.
No, but of course the enemy they could maybe get hit by a car.
Right.
Right. I mean, so
I don't want that to happen. So.
Well, hey, I'm right now. I'm 84. Going to be 80. Que sera, sera. Maybe they're protecting me too.
I hope so.
You try to kill Sarfatti, you get zapped by a UFO. Who the hell? You know what I mean?
Are you familiar with what Eric Weinstein said recently about? He was talking a lot about Ed Witten. And he was saying that people like Ed Witten aren't even within striking distance of this anti-gravity technology. And Eric's opinion was that this whole Tic Tac thing and all these congressional hearings are a smokescreen.
Yeah, because Eric's an idiot. Eric, okay, and Eric, he's angry with me now because I told him he was an idiot. I didn't say somebody. No, Eric's a smart guy. Eric is what Einstein called an intelligent fool. Okay. I know. I grew up with Eric all my life. Eric, he's a very smart Jewish guy, like a rabbi. He's got gravitas. And he's hangs out with, with all these with Elon Musk, right, and Lex Friedman. He's part of that little
Peter Thiel,
and he hangs out, and they respect him. But he's smart. I know people who have known pretty well. And his theory is no good. He has this geometric unity theory. It's mathematics. He's a mathematician trying to do physics. He's very smart, but he has no physical intuition. And he's like Louis Elizondo with a PhD. Now, I'm willing to debate him anytime, He has this thing, 7 time dimensions and this and that. And but what he says about Witten is true. Witten doesn't have a clue because Witten's not interested. I don't think Witten, his father was interested. But Louis Witten was part of that Wheeler group,
Right.
But I don't think Ed is, and Ed Witten, okay. And then Ed Witten to Eric Weinstein's like God. He's so powerful. But actually, I don't see why everybody thinks Ed Witten is so great. I mean, he's a mathematician. He's done some beautiful, but there's no physics there. He hasn't predicted anything to be tested. So it's a false idol. As far as I could see, and I could be wrong, but Ed Witten is like the golden calf. And Eric Davis worshiping the golden calf. What has Ed Witten done that has affected technology, that has led to an experiment that could be proper falsified, like what I have here? They're testing an equation here, and it's either going to work or not work. It can be proper falsified. So from what I can see is that Ed Witten has done some very beautiful mathematical art, but it's conceptual art. I don't see any physics there. It's a nothing burger in terms of physics.
Interesting.
Now, I could be wrong, and I would love if Ed Witten wants to come on with you, and if Eric Davis want to come on, and if they want to teach me why. See, if I'm
Eric
wrong.
Weinstein, you mean?
Huh? Eric
Weinstein.
whatever his name.
You were saying Davis.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I got Eric Davis on him, Wayne. Eric. So the thing is, now it would be very interesting. They would come on and tell me what is it that I'm missing, and if I'm wrong, I have no problem saying I'm wrong. Okay, guys, you're right. I adapt.
Right. So what was going on in the 50s with his dad, Lewis Witten, when he was studying anti-gravity and everything all of a sudden it seemed
there was this guy back.
Everything went dark out of nowhere.
Yeah. No, the point, because they failed. They didn't do anything. Because you want to know if they succeeded. I know Wheeler. I know Kip Thorne would know, all these guys. But the guys that I know, if we had this stuff back in the 50s, we'd be flying it around now. Why are we flying? Why are we spending money on jets?
Well, maybe these things are ours.
No, they're not ours. Definitely not ours. That's clear. Don't even say that. That's kind of dumb. There's no way that Ryan Graves, that Grusch, and all these Navy pilots that at this point, 20 years later, if it was ours, we would be okay. And if it was Russia's, Putin would be using it in Ukraine right now. Are you kidding?
But if it was ours, why wouldn't we test it against our most elite Navy fighters?
Yeah, but then why are we using it?
How do you know we're not using it?
We're not using it.
There's footage of them over in the Middle East.
Yeah, but they're not. Well, no, they would use it. It would come out. The Congress doesn't know who provides the money. It's not ours.
Right, but some of these companies like Battelle Institute.
No, they're all stupid. You got to understand. They're all engineers. They're smart in what they do. They don't understand what I'm talking about. They don't understand general relativity. They don't understand it. They know the mathematics. See, there's a thing. There are different layers. There are plenty of guys who have done good work in the theory, in the mathematics of general relativity, that they don't understand the physics behind what they're doing. They can't relate their math really to physics because they don't really understand it. Okay, that's why they haven't done anything. Now, I would love to be proved wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong. You know, I have enough experience. I sort of know how things work. We don't have it. If we had it, after 70 years, we'd be using the damn thing. We wouldn't be spending, almost $1 trillion a year on obsolete military technology, which is no good. Or maybe we would if we are, see some people, then all these 44 four-star generals, all these secretaries of defense, they should all be court-martialed, their pensions taken away, and tried for treason. Because they've been keeping the real stuff from jeopardizing the defense of the United States. And I'll tell you one thing, if Putin had it, he wouldn't keep it secret.
You don't think?
Then why the fuck would they invite me to Moscow if they had it? Why do they need me for? They don't have it. There's the proof. I mean, you got to, have a little, there's sechel, a little common sense. They don't have it. Nobody has it except I may have it. I have some of it. I certainly have some of it. Okay, and I'm the only one who has it, and I'd love somebody to prove me wrong, show me, So and Eric Weinstein, he's a big poobah with Lex Friedman and Elon Musk, who's kind of a schmuck too. I like Elon, but he's a schmuck. Elon Musk, he's putting all his money into rockets, and he's going a little bit crazy. He's a little bit meshuggah, when you see he talks on his tweets. Sounds worse than Trump ever was, He's going
to be boxing Mark Zuckerberg.
And why do you want to box Zuckerberg? Mark Zuckerberg, box a little
Would
Jewish
you box Eric Weinstein?
No, I'm 84 years old. I can't. If I was maybe 24, I would. Fuck. That's stupid. They're stupid. They're smart in many ways, but they're stupid in many other ways. Okay, and that's why I'm saying Sarfatti Space Corporation is going to kick the ass of SpaceX, because we're going to show that and then you should use the graphics. Now we're going to show that all the rocket technology that SpaceX is using, it's brilliant engineering, great. The thing comes down and lands. That's all, but we don't need any of that. It's dumb. It's you want to get to Mars, like crawling on your knees to get to Mars. We'll get to Mars in what, a half hour? We'll get to Mars. You step through the warp drive. Yeah. You get there, and maybe through a wormhole. You may just step through the doorway, like in Doctor Who, and you wind up here on Mars.
How do we go through a wormhole?
We just walk through it. How do you go through? You walk through it.
How do we make one?
Well, how do we make one? That's what will work. That's what the experiment. I want to put speed bumps.
That's Sam in his Lamborghini. He just
no. That's some asshole in a motorcycle. But the point is this: that the experiment that they're going to do at Lawrence Livermore, testing that equation, is the first step toward making a wormhole. if that works, then we now. If it doesn't work, we have to go back to the drawing board, see why it didn't work. So it's called it's manipulating the fabric of space-time. Anything you warp, you change the shape of the gravitational field, so it's a wormhole.
So they're going at Lawrence Livermore. They're going to test your equation.
Yeah, they test one of the. They're testing one version. There's a simplified toy model. They're not testing the general theory. They're testing a particular application of the general theory based on certain assumptions that are very simple for a homogeneous plasma, for simple. It's not a metamaterial. Metamaterial is more complicated. Metamaterial, is not homogeneous, it's not isotropic, and it changes time. This is for a plasma, heavy ion plasma. You read the paper, and they're testing it to see if it works there. Okay?
Okay.
And if it works, then it's a sufficient proof of concept. If it doesn't work, it's not good, but it's also, we've learned something that particular application of the general theory is the wrong way to go. At least it doesn't work for a plasma.
Okay.
So they've tested some of it. Now, what they're testing, they got this huge machine and they got these beams of heavy ions. They're smashing them together in a tenth of a millionth of a cubic meter, a tiny little volume bubble,
right.
And they're going to create a gravitational field that's 16,000 times the Earth's. In other words, you would weigh, if you were in the little guy in the bubble, your weight would be 16,000 times your Earth weight.
Wow.
16,000.
What would that do to time?
Well, that's a good question, But and it's going to that's a very good question. Actually, there'll be a time distortion. Maybe actually, thank you. I'll calculate that. But I did. I was worried about whether it would make a black hole, which might be bad.
And haven't they already made a black hole in a lab?
No. They've done what are called simulations, where they simulate. It's a computer simulation of a black hole using metamaterials, but there's not a physical black hole. This would be a physical black hole. So I checked. It turns out even with their tremendous energies, what they're doing, it's nowhere near a black hole. But it is 16,000 Earth G, and the curvature, what's called the curvature, is 10 to the 22 times the curvature at the surface of the Earth. Now, if the Earth makes a certain curvature here, it's very weak. Turns out it's very weak. But this is 22 powers of 10 stronger curvature, according to their numbers they've calculated. But it's still not a black hole. It doesn't make a black hole. So we don't have to worry about that.
Okay. You explained a little bit about when we were talking about the warp drive, that you would need very little power. The power supply, you can do it with
should we try,
a Duracell battery.
Yeah, should we try? Okay, let me see. Do I have? Hang on a minute. Okay, can you see this? Tell me if you see this.
Yes. Yep.
Do you see the whole? Whoop! Hold that. It's gonna fall. Yeah, get it. I don't know what happened. Okay, hit it. Okay, so you see this? Whoop! You got it too. All right. Okay. This is Einstein's gravity field equation.
Okay.
Okay? And you see that thing called the capital G divided by C to the fourth?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? That's the coupling. Capital G is what's called Newton's constant of gravitation. The little c in the denominator there to the fourth power, that's the vacuum speed of light.
Okay.
Okay? Now, just mathematically, guys, you have to know some math, high school math. If you let that c in the denominator get small, okay, if you let the denominator get small, then that coefficient, g over c to the fourth, gets bigger. Because if you let the denominator go to zero, eventually you go to zero, that's infinity. One over zero is infinity. So in general, if you haven't been totally dumbed down by the Communist Party making Americans stupid, and what they say now, math is gender, math is white privilege, don't teach math because you make blacks look dumb? And what the fuck are you? I mean, you not out of your fucking minds? Yes, you are. You woke bastards. Fuck them. Okay, I don't have to give
Oh my God.
All right. No, but seriously.
Yeah.
They're making us stupid.
Uh-huh.
Russians are laughing at us.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, critical race theory bullshit. You're the real racist. We're not the racists. Assholes.
All right, so what the hell does this mean?
So Well, here the speed is 300 million meters per second. But the point is, inside the metamaterial, it's not really the speed, but it's as if the speed is going down to zero. And since the speed is going down to zero, the coefficient itself is getting big. So this is the warp field. This is the gravity field you want to control.
Oh, lift it up higher.
Okay. The big G here, G mu nu, that's the warp field.
Okay.
Okay?
Got it.
Okay. This is the energy needed, the power. The T, the capital T, that's the energy needed, okay?
Okay.
So you want to have for the tic-tac to do whatever it's going to do, it requires a certain amount of G.
Okay.
Whatever that is, G. You keep that fixed.
Okay.
You make the effective C a lot smaller. And since G is fixed and this is getting bigger, the coefficient is getting bigger, that gets small. That's the idea. This is the amount of energy you need. So it's only because G was small and C was so big that they couldn't get it to work. But in the metamaterial, you can make the effective C very small, and then you get the amount of G you need for a very small amount of energy. It's just math. It's the math of a hyperbola.
You get that?
You know, and you see the fact that most people can't get that is why America is going down, because but see, the Russians, the Chinese kids get it. Mm-hmm. The Russian kids know it. For them, it's nothing, but for most Americans, it's something, and that's why we have been defeated. And we're going to be defeated.
Can you give me a beautiful?
Look,
give me a beautiful analogy to understand that?
No. But this is this is what the
higher, a little bit higher. Z equals XY. Hold it up higher.
Z equals XY, right?
Okay.
So you want to have Z fixed. So this is okay. You want to have a fixed Z. You want to fix Z.
Wait, you can't hear you because you're not talking to the mic.
Okay. This is Einstein's equation in the simplest terms.
Okay. Z equals XY.
Z equals XY.
What is Z?
Z is the gravity field.
Z is the gravity field.
It's the warp field. That's the propulsion field that you want.
Okay.
The tic-tac warp field is Z.
Okay.
Okay. Y is the energy you need, the power. You know, the how much voltage. Okay, Y is the volts. The power. How big a battery you need is Y.
Okay.
Okay. X involves that capital G over C to the fourth power, the coupling. That's the coupling, the transmission. So to be, that's the transduction, how an input, Y is the voltage input, and then, do you know Ohm's law, the resistance? If you have a voltage, and if you increase the resistance, you get a smaller current. But if for the same voltage, but if I lower the resistance like a superconductor, I get a bigger current, right? So in the same way here, what we're doing, the whole trick is with the metamaterial, we're making X big, Z. Can you see this?
No. Yeah. Now we can see it.
Well, the trick is you keep Z fixed. Z is how much warp power do you want? How much warping of the space-time do you want? That's Z. You keep that fixed because there's a certain amount you want to escape the Earth, let's say.
Okay.
Okay. And Y is how much voltage you need on your Tesla battery inside the UFO. Yeah, how much power? I mean, how many? What are they? Oh, kilowatts of power. The what do they call it? You buy. The battery lasts a certain number of miles.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's that. That's what Y is. How big a battery? How big does Elon Musk have to make your battery?
How much range do they get in these UFOs for?
Well, wait a minute. First, let's just get the idea.
Okay.
Don't ask me that. So I'm just making an analogy now. Don't take it too literally. So now, and X is the coupling. That's where the metamaterial comes in, where we make X big. We make X big, keeping Z fixed. So you make X big, keeping Z fixed. That means Y gets less.
Right.
Y is a matter of battery power.
I got it.
Okay, so that's the idea. That's the trick. That's the idea of warp drive. So what the point is, everybody, all these smart assholes, like Ed Witten, they think that you can't change X. They can't change that. They say X is fixed. You can't do anything about it. That's why they don't believe any of this. They don't think you can change X.
What is X again?
X is the coupling of the voltage to the warp drive.
Okay.
Okay. X. Okay. What is X? Is like X is the engine.
Okay. X is the engine.
X is the engine.
I understand that.
Okay. So okay. X is like the horsepower of the engine.
Okay.
Okay. And Y is how much gasoline you need. Okay. How much gas?
Oh, okay. Got it.
Okay.
So the higher.
Okay. No. X is the efficiency of the engine.
The efficiency.
The efficiency. The efficiency. The more efficient the engine, for the certain amount of horse. This is like the amount of horsepower out. Okay. The horsepower is like the warp.
Okay.
So as you make the engine more efficient, you need less fuel to get the amount of horsepower, right? Or something like that.
Right.
I'm not. Maybe that violates energy conservation. I'm trying to make analogies. People get it. But the point is this: look, it's simple mathematics. As Z is fixed, you make X big. For Z fixed, Y gets small. Okay, there's a graph. It's called a hyperbola. Okay, let me just draw a graph. This is X, and this is Y. I'll make it red, and this is Z fixed. This is it, man. This is it. So
A little higher.
this is for fixed Z. That red curve is called the curve of hyperbola.
Okay.
And you can see which way. So when X is getting small, what does it mean for X to get small? X to get small, you're moving toward the origin. This is 0, right?
Uh-huh.
X is getting small, so it goes X and Y is going up there. Y is or the other way around. I have the other way around. Fix it. Okay, yeah. I want it to go the other way around. I want. Okay, no. X starts off small. I gotta just X starts off here, and X is going there. So Y is getting small. Y is the amount of energy you need.
Okay.
That's it. So this is that's basically this curve. It's the curve hyperbola. That's it.
Curve hyperbola.
Yeah, this is hyperbola. See, now I want to tell you something. In Russia and in China, they used to be, I don't know if in France, the kids learn this when they're 10 years old. A 10-year-old kid, your kid should be knowing this by now. By the time they're 11 or 12, for sure.
Oh, okay.
Okay? And the fact that most Americans don't know this is why we're going under. This is the biggest national security threat, is that the average American kid, like you guys who are pretty smart, don't know basic mathematics. And that's why the Congress doesn't know it. The CIA director now is a PhD in physics, actually.
Who's the CIA director right now?
That woman, I forgot her name.
Is it a woman right now?
It's a woman, yeah, and she's a PhD in physics. So she may already understand this. I don't know, and maybe she's keeping it secret. But she should, she could understand this in 2 seconds.
Who is the current CIA director? The current William Burns is the current CIA director.
Okay, no, the DCI, the National Intelligence Director.
Okay.
Who's that? Is that a woman? Check it.
What's it called? DCI director?
The National Intelligence Directorate, National Intelligence Directorate or something. Yeah, she's like the boss.
Oh yeah, Avril Haines.
Avril Haines. Look at her. She's a PhD in physics.
Oh wow.
Okay. So Avril Haines should be calling Jack Sarfatti on the goddamn telephone. Jack, sorry, let's do a Zoom and we'll have a discussion.
Right.
And Avril Haines knows Ron Pandolfi used to work for these people, so this is all they should do this.
Yeah.
Stop being stupid. In the meantime, the Russians want me to go to Moscow.
Right.
So you want the Russians to get it. Schmucks. And it's all, I blame Chris Mellon, because Chris Mellon was Assistant Secretary for Intelligence at the Pentagon, because he was a Mellon, and Mellon should have told him this. Mellon should have told him this. So he's not doing his job.
Right.
So that's the problem. That's the problem. The problem is, and we see it, what's happening in Ukraine. Everything we're doing is stupid. We have open borders. So now what's happening with the open borders? We have Chinese communists, Iranian, and God knows, North Korean special forces, sleeper cells, all these young guys, these are military-aged men coming through, and they're ready. And they get the order, bang, what happens? They blow up Hoover Dam. They blow up our nuclear reactors. They incapacitate our energy generator, our oil refineries, and we're dead in the water. We have no home defense now. There's no home defense. They could take us over any time.
Well, didn't you say we have that biodome that blocks all the nukes?
No, we don't have it. I want to make it. We don't have it. That's what they're hoping, and I'm not sure we can make it. I think maybe we can because the Tic Tacs have it. We have some evidence, anecdotal evidence. The Tic Tacs have this thing.
They have a force field.
Yeah, they could bounce. They try to shoot it down with missiles and it bounces off.
They try to shoot it. They try to shoot the Tic Tac with missiles.
Or the stuff coming out of the water. Yeah, they tried to shoot it down.
What?
Yeah.
Who tried to shoot it?
Well, I can't tell you that the guys who tell me, the guy who get in trouble. I don't want to get him in trouble.
And what happened to they shot rockets at it?
Yeah.
What happened to the rockets?
And they bounce back, or nothing happens. They can't get through it. Well, they even have the thing when they have this UFO and they take acetylene torches and they can't dent it even until they can dent it when it wants until mentally if it likes your brain waves, it'll obey your commands.
Really?
Yeah. That's
people can consciously tap into them?
What?
People can consciously tap into them?
That's the only way you can. It's when they're controlled. Because they're conscious, they're alive in a sense. They're artificial life. They are post-quantum artificial living conscious intelligence. They are chat AI. Oh, they are what's happening, what Sarfatti Corp is going to do if we're successful. If we get, we may not be. What Sarfatti Corp is going to do, you're going to have an iPhone in which the AI is a conscious AI. It's going to be as conscious as you are. Maybe not quite as conscious. Maybe like a dog is. Whatever. Dogs are conscious.
Yeah.
But it'll be able to talk. A dog can't talk. A dog has emotional consciousness just like us. Maybe better than us. The dolphins, they all have it. It's all the same.
Right.
Because I know we understand the physics of it. We solve the physics of it. We understand how to do it. With nanotechnology. That's what we're going to do here in Sarfatti Space Corp. And so the point, you can get into your Tesla car. I don't like electric cars. That's bullshit. I'm going to get into my E-Pace Jaguar, my 2030 E-Pace Jaguar, and it's going to have a conscious say, it'll say, Jack, where do you want to go? In a beautiful English lady's voice, like they have, but except that it's going to be much smarter than this, than what they have now, because what they have now is a zombie. It's not conscious.
Right, right.
But they're also going to have, but we also have to worry because you have conscious robots. It's going to be like Blade Runner. You can't tell the difference. You can have deep fake people, and there can be some problems there. But the science fiction, Blade Runner and all that stuff.
What are your thoughts on what Michio Kaku says about the multiverse, where he says there's multiple?
I'm open-minded to it. I know me. I've met Michio Kaku. We discussed flying. He's into flying saucers.
Yes.
And he's a visionary, smart guy, and
very good communicator.
A great communicator. Yes. And whatever Michio says, you take seriously. He's, as they say in the KGB, Michio Kaku, a serious person. Drink some vodka. I drink vodka with Michio Kaku. He's a serious person.
So yeah, you ever talked to him? What is your?
Yeah, I was at a bar with him in Santa Fe, and we spent like an hour drinking. He was telling me about this is when I got into the fight. Almost got into the fight with Steve Greer. Michio was there.
Oh wow!
And afterwards, so we're in Santa Fe, this hotel in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and we were sitting down at the bar, drinking, and he said he's investigated the JAL. He's a Japanese American, and so he was interested in the JAL thing. And he said everything is real. He investigated it's real. It happened, as far as he's concerned.
What is the JAL?
That's the close encounter of this Japan airline with this flying saucer. I don't know. I forgot the details. Back 20 years ago, this was.
So really?
Years ago. Yeah. Oh yeah. Just look up just Google Michio Kaku JAL UFO flying saucer.
Right.
And so he's not even skeptical about it anymore.
Yeah, I've heard him talk about this, and I've heard him mention like the concept of avatars.
Yes. Well, I mean, there's a movie Avatar. Well, that's what I'm talking about.
Right.
Yeah, see, that's the other thing. See, the big thing. I should have it. Because all these Silicon Valley young billionaires, your generation assholes, they got billions. Yeah, they bought. Oh, Sam Altman's one of them.
Yeah.
Right next to him. So they want to live forever. They want to live forever. Sarfatti Space Corporation has a chance of showing them how to live forever. Because the CIA, George Koopman in 1975 says, Jack, we want to know how consciousness works. So that's called the hard problem. Tom Stoppard wrote a play called The Hard Problem about this. David Chalmers, a Scientific American, philosopher, they all pussyfoot around. Now, I solved the hard problem back even 20 years ago. It was one of the first, CIA said two problems: how do consciousness work and how do UFOs fly. I basically solved the hard problem back in the mid-1990s. People are stupid, they don't get it. Finally, a year ago, there's this guy, Paavo Pilkin, he's a respectable, cognitive, it's kind of biophysics guy, philosopher, he gets grants from the Fetzer Foundation. He's part of the in crowd, with Stewart Hameroff and all this. He's a mensch. He's a serious person, according to the establishment, okay? And he is a Finnish guy. He's a professor in Helsinki and in Sweden, okay? And he published a paper in December of 22 on the brain as a quantum measuring device. And section 7 of that paper, in a very respectable peer-reviewed journal, is the Sarfatti theory of the mind-matter-consciousness interaction. And he basically says it's the only I am the only theory in town that explains it. Nobody even else comes close. I explain using Bohmian physics, and it's all in there, okay? And just like these guys at law, okay. And then it took me at 2011, I basically solved the UFO warp drive low energy problem. And I gave a talk. I was working with this guy, Creon Levitt, Larry Lemke, who works with now with Jacques Vallée and Garry Nolan. And I was General Pete Worden, who's the head of NASA Ames back then in 2010, 2011. He had retired from he's an Air Force general, brigadier general, who ran the Space Command. He has a PhD in astrophysics from the University of Arizona. So he's a smart guy. Okay? And then he took my a kind of informal, this guy Creon Levitt, who's now the research director of Planet Corp. They do these satellites for the CIA, small, they do like SpaceX. Sky, what does Elon Musk have? That Sky thing, all these little satellites. They do stuff like that.
You mean the internet?
Yeah, the space surveillance, all these small satellites.
Space surveillance?
Yeah.
Starlink is the internet.
Yeah, they do like the Planet. It's called Planet. They're here, right here. It's Planet Corp. It's a spin-off from NASA Ames, from the guys I knew. And they've done this. In any case, back in 2010, 2011, there's a big meeting with DARPA, Defense Advanced Projects Agency, NASA, and what they call the 100-year Starship. And General Pete Warren invites me to Orlando. This is October 2011, and I sort of solved the problem by then. I give my basic paper, what I'm trying to explain to you guys. It wasn't as good as I have it now. I have it, things get better with the time. But I give the first form of it. Eric Davis tries to put me down. Even though he believes in it, I guess he was afraid that it was, too fringe.
Mm-hmm. What was fringe about it?
Who knows? You got to ask Eric Davis. Go interview him.
What do you think he thought was fringe?
I think because he was after the money and he knew it. I think Ron Pandolfi calls them crooks and loons. I don't know. But the thing is this. Sharon Weinberger was there. Sharon Weinberger is a defense journalist. She writes, and she wrote an article about what happened, this whole thing, about me at this meeting and what happened. You can read the article. Creon Levitt's in it. And she writes about the whole thing. It's on the BBC website, British Broadcasting Corporation. So everything I'm saying can be checked. So I solved the problem back then. And basically the last 10 years, I've been improving it. But I've been getting all this opposition from the Eric Davis, Chris Mellon, Louis Elizondo, Colonel Alexander crowd, mainly because of that they hate Donald. They have Trump derangement syndrome. So because of that, they have Sarfatti derangement syndrome because I was supportive of Donald Trump. That seems to be it. Or they're trying to keep the real secret because they don't want anybody to know. But it's too late. The cat's out of the bag. So I don't know why they're doing it. But see, this is something now for you to find out. You could ask. You should interview. You should call up. I mean, you're a major guy now. You should get in touch with Chris Mellon, get in touch with John Alexander, get in touch with Eric Davis. In fact, I give you a list of people. They're the ones who are anti-Jack, but there's also Ronald Pandolfi, pro-Jack, Travis Davis, kind of pro-Jack, Larry Lemke. You get Jacques Vallée. You have a panel, just have it, and all get everybody in the same, or on Zoom, do a Zoom, whatever the hell you want to do, and let's just get it all out in the air.
So all these guys that you're mentioning, they're all experts in different fields, right? Obviously, Christopher Mellon, he's a politician, he's a defense guy, right? He's a
he's
not a politician. He's a what is his title? I don't know what his title is.
Okay, he was
Secretary to Defense, right?
For intelligence.
For intelligence.
Yeah, back during Clinton.
Right.
And a little bit under George Bush, but but he was young. His
job, by definition, is not to understand physics, is it?
Well, intelligence, you got to know something about it. He's now Chris and I agree on some very core issues. Chris says UFOs are real, Tic Tacs are real machines. Jack Sarfatti says yes, UFOs are real machines. Chris Mellon says UFOs are a military threat. Jack Sarfatti says, yes, Chris Mellon's a the UFO's military threat. And Elizondo agrees with him and actually Eric Davis. We all agree on this. So on the important stuff, we all agree. Where they start attacking me is they say Jack Sarfatti is a nutcase, conspiracy kook, everything, he's a nut, and he doesn't understand physics, and his physics is wrong. And we got the physics.
What do they say specifically is a conspiracy? They say you're a conspiracy kook. What part about what you say?
Oh, because I support Donald Trump, and I believe that January 6th was a ripoff. It was like the Reichstag that they had, because I think there have been FBI and government agitators leading it on, and I think Trump was stupid to do it in the first place. He fell into their trap,
right?
So I think it's a lot of bullshit. All the indictments are bullshit. I basically, I'm on that wing. I'm with Matt Gaetz. And who are some of the other guys? What's her name? They hate her. The girl from South Carolina, the congresswoman. Who's Green? Is it? Whatever. I can't think of names offhand. And that's I support Tucker Carlson. All these people. And so that's why. So it's part of the civil war going on.
Yeah. No. It's that's. You're basically just giving them an easy excuse to dismiss you by talking about all that. So
yes, because I'm not going to compromise. I'm not going to pretend.
Because no matter what's true, they're going to be able to justify that. Because
exactly.
They can get half of the country.
And I'm not like, for a while I supported, what's his name, Sanctimonious, he calls him, because he's a good governor.
Ron DeSanctimonious.
Ron, your governor, and your governor comes off, this is interesting, and he says, at one point he says, we shouldn't be giving money to Ukraine. Ukraine's lost the war. It's stupid strategy. And then, because this is Colonel Douglas McGovern talking, he says, then one of Sanctimonious's donors, a big donor, calls him up, and the next 2 days later, he does a 180, because of the money.
Right.
You see?
Yeah.
See,
these are just politicians.
They're just going the script of their donors.
These aren't good people who want to make the country better.
No, that's right. But RFK Jr., and I support Trump, but I would support RFK Jr. is the real thing, okay? I may not agree with everything he says on certain things, which I'm not, but he is authentic, and he is honest, and he's not bullshitting, he's not lying about anything. He believes and that's why I support Trump. So Trump is because Trump says what's on his mind. He doesn't bullshit around. He says he acts on, he did what he said he was going to do. He doesn't he's like me. Trump is like me. He's in New York. And he has enough money. He didn't go in for the money. He lost billions of dollars by doing it. He could have had, enjoyed his he's doing this because he's a patriot. He's doing it because he see the country going down, but these stupid assholes. That's why he did it.
Yeah.
That's the reason, that's why I can't stop saying, as I'm a patriotic American, man.
Right.
Yeah, the old school. So there it is. And I agree with, one of my politics the same as Douglas McGregor, Ray McGovern, Scott Ritter. Scott Ritter got some trouble, but it doesn't matter. He's a smart guy. And there's a couple of other guys there's a Judge Neapolitano, Tucker Carlson, basically, Michael Savage, who's a personal friend,
Yeah.
And that's it. And RFK Jr. Hey, I think if Trump survives all this, the Stalinist show trials, 1936 Banana Republic, treason that they're doing in New York, and Jack Smith, that asshole, and all of them, if he survives this, and if RFK went in as vice president, they'd have a winning ticket.
Well, as far as the indictments, I don't want to turn this into a political podcast,
Yeah.
but the indictments, it seems like the Georgia ones kind of that's kind of a straight shot for them, because they have the recorded conversations with them, and him.
Well, I don't know what they have.
They have some pretty damning evidence for that.
Have you heard it? I haven't heard it.
Yeah, I've heard people talk. I can't remember it. I can't recall it right now.
But sort of, what did you hear them say? That they knew what they were lying?
Yes. Yeah, basically. Either it was the guys that were working for him or Trump. They said something about, there was a quote. He said, "Find the votes."
Oh, no, but that's, no. They're not going to, no, they'll win on that. No. Oh, no, that's bullshit. That's all? If it's just find the votes?
Yeah.
That's bullshit. Okay. That's like saying, that is total crap. That's an ass. Oh, I'm not even a lawyer. I can defend him on that.
Yeah.
And he said, he meant by that, he believed, that's not lying. He meant that there were phony votes and there were real votes they haven't counted properly. By find the votes, he means weed out the illegitimate votes, the phony votes. He's talking about find real legal votes. Okay, let me tell you something. I have a friend, guy I worked with, a physicist down Orange County. Mm-hmm. Okay, and they voted, and then some of their friends, they voted Republican, and their votes were lost. They lost. They were disenfranchised in the 2020 election, in the 2022 election. They were disenfranchised. I know. My vote doesn't count here. I don't. I've lost my, because they have all this bullshit thing about this graded thing. I'm a PhD theoretical physicist with an IQ of God knows what. And I can't figure. I'm not interested. I want to know. You know what I'm saying? And I can't figure the thing out. So what are all the dummies? They don't know what the fuck is going on.
Right.
So we don't have any voting here in San Francisco for locals. I can vote. I can vote for the for Trump or for somebody, or for RFK Jr. But then they still so we don't have any votes. California is a one-party rigged election state. We have no voting rights. My civil rights have been violated for a long time. There's other, but
why don't you move to Florida?
What?
Why don't you move to Florida?
No, because I can't stand the weather. I know, I have beautiful weather here. Are you kidding? Look at where I'm living.
So you'd give up some freedom for good weather?
Yes. Yes.
Fair enough.
Well, of course. Look, I live in a beautiful, and also I'm in London, almost half a year.
Okay. Yeah. Half the year. Wow. Okay.
Well, it's been 4 months. I plan to spend more. If if this thing comes through, we have a London branch, a London company. And my better half is British citizen. And we have I belong to a British club. If they don't throw me out for politics because they're all pro-Ukraine and I'm not, but whatever, I'm with this very exclusive club, and the club world, and I just like London. Have you been to London?
I've never been to London.
Well, hey, you guys, if you have the money, if you want to do, maybe come over to London for a couple of days. It's not that far from Florida. Fly over to London. Yeah. For a couple of days, and we can walk around,
As long as I don't look the wrong way when I'm crossing the street. Like John Mack.
Yeah, right. No, London is great. London is still, and even England's going downhill also. They have some of the same problems we have. Yeah. But still the Londoners are just, they're just more fun in general. And I'm with a very elite group of, people in the theater world, in the government world, the army, the police, my friend's assistant commissioner of the London Met. We have dinner and and the playwrights. And
You're a big shot.
Well, I'm involved. Yeah, I'm part of the. I'm integrated into
Bohemian Grove.
Yeah, all
London.
that shit. Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, no more Bohemian Grove because my guy died. I could.
Are you sure they don't do sacrifices at Bohemian
No,
Grove?
they don't do anything like that.
Have you seen Alex Jones' documentary about
Alex
Bohemian
Jones?
Grove?
Look, some of these. Alex Jones is an asshole. He's an asshole on the left. I like some of the stuff Alex Jones says, because I'm a conspiracy nut too. But Alex Jones really screwed up.
You're a conspiracy nut. You just made fun of Chris Mellon for calling you a conspiracy nut. You just called yourself a conspiracy
I am a conspiracy, but anybody who isn't a conspiracy nut is just stupid. You got to be stupid not to be a conspiracy nut these days, because it couldn't be worse. Everything you think is bad, it's worse than you think.
What's the difference between a conspiracy theory and the truth? Do you know?
Not much.
6 months.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So what we talk about? Okay, the Grove. Okay, Alex Jones basically screwed up on the Sandy Hook thing.
Big time.
That was dumb. That was real. I don't know how it could be so stupid. I like him as a personality. I like him. But, and then he screwed up on the Bohemian Grove. That's stupid. I've been to Bohemian Grove many times, and it's just like me being in a London club. It's a bunch of basically old guys like me. Okay, old guys like me who are relaxing because they feel safe. Okay. And then they have a few guys like you, up and coming, and hedge fund guys, and a lot of them are rich and powerful, and like Henry Kissinger, and then George Bush when he was at. There's this whole camp where it's all like Robert Gates, defense intelligence, heads of the CIA, admirals, the 4 stars. They have their own camp. I can go in there and talk to them if I want, but everything is very friendly on the, we go there and there's this beautiful night, on a summer night. They have 1,000 people there, tables out, dinners. And there's young people, they have these beautiful young waitresses and young men like you, who are making, they had summer jobs, college kids, stuff like that, who are the waiters and stuff like that. And
sex slaves?
No, none of that. In fact, these guys couldn't get it up anyway when they got sex slaves. So, I don't know if Viagra would help them. They're not. No, they're not.
You ever seen Obama there?
I don't think they let Obama in. They wouldn't let Clinton in. They don't like Clinton.
Really?
Oh, no, Clinton would not be made a member. They for some reason, I was told Clinton probably not. Okay. By some of the top guys, I don't know what they have against Clinton. No, Clinton wasn't there.
Clinton was a straight shooter.
I don't know. Maybe the guys I just spoke to didn't like. Well, maybe they were Republicans. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if Obama's been there or not. It's a good question. No, but the people go to Kissinger, Bloomberg. What are who's some of the other guys?
George Soros.
I don't think they like George Soros much. I don't know if Soros. That's a good question. I don't know. I mean, I don't know that much who's been there. But let me put it there. Okay, being at the Grove is like when I was at Cornell at 16, coming in on the Cornell special with the band. Being at the Grove at times is like being back in the 50s. They have these plays, they have these performances, and everybody, the orchestras, everything, the opera, everything is done by members. They have a lot of talented people from Hollywood, from Broadway, very famous rock stars come,
Wow.
Okay, and it's very patriotic. We go. It was just like when I was back at Cornell. So we go up there. There's this big amphitheater, and they're putting on a show, and they play the Star Spangled. Everybody gets up. And we pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. And these women, families are there. It's all very American. It's all Norman Rockwell. And the bands and those old guys and the American flags, and then they play all the Stanford song, the Berkeley song, the Cornell song, the Harvard, Yale. And these are all Ivy League people. These are guys I knew back at Cornell. They're all you go from the Ivy League, you go to the Bohemian Grove. If you made money, okay. They have two classes of members. If my friend hadn't died, and if I hadn't been busy, I could have become what's called a real Bohemian, a creative member. the creative members, they don't have to pay anything. You pay your bill, your bar bill, and you still have to have money. But a guy like Kissinger, he'll pay like $30,000 a year just dues. Well, maybe it's 50, but it's a lot of money. And they were hurt by COVID. Okay, a lot. And those are the rich guys, or the rich bohemians. The professors, the creative, maybe the movie star. Well, it depends if they have money. It all depends. Mm-hmm. But they will let you in. Like my friend had somebody, but my friend, my mentor, who was a top guy, he was a creative member, but he took care of the Grove. I mean, he spent. In other words, you put your time in. You do something that the club needs. You make sure everything's running on time. You work for the club. You do sets. You do in the band if they're doing a show, and you paint the set. You act. You put in your time, and you don't have to pay the yearly dues. You keep the club running and creative. They're very creative.
Sounds like Scientology, kind of.
No, it's not nothing like Scientology.
It's just like Scientology. That's exactly how Scientology works.
No, except you're talking to, who are some of the big rock stars that are there?
Mick Jagger?
Well, I don't know if he was there, but...
Alice Cooper?
Yeah, well, I don't know, but who are some of the American ones?
Those guys? Oh, American?
Oh, who are the Broadway? Who's that? Sontag? Guys like that.
Oh, okay.
They put on, before, this is pre-COVID.
Michael Jackson?
Not Michael Jackson. No, these are, I don't think so. But what's his name? But you talk to John Warner, to Senator Warner, he would come there, Richard Nixon, Oppenheimer, a lot of Berkeley professors. No, they put on shows. They do original scripts. They put on shows that are Broadway quality shows.
Wow.
Okay? They put on 30 to 50 a year. Okay? And they do it one night. Everything's done by members of the Grove. Okay? They put it on. And then I think they do they have an official photographer. You can't, no cell phone, nothing like that. And it's just done. Okay? Okay? And that takes a lot of effort. And they have lectures by, top Robert Gates, top intellectuals come. And it's like Chautauqua. It's like a university. You go there in the encampment, and it's like going back to college. Mm-hmm. They have top people all over the world. Prince Philip was there. Prince Philip would come. Prince Philip was like an honorary member. The husband of the Queen of England. And I think Charles has been there. I think Charles comes. He's come in the past. I don't know if he will now. No, it's very...
What about Andrew?
What?
What about Andrew?
I don't know if Andrew was ever there, but I'm not sure. I don't know. I never heard anybody talking about Andrew.
Okay.
But I know Charles was there, and Philip used to come there. Nixon. No, and it's all very straight. It's all very proper. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. So, all right. So one of the things is, that's why Alex Jones is full of shit. Because at 9 o'clock, when they do have women there on weekends, or special weekends, women come, the wives come. At 9 o'clock... They have these GM trucks open. They all have 9 o'clock. All the security guards come to all the camps, and the women have to get on. The women stay outside the camp. They have various inns and motels surrounding the Grove, and that's where women after 9 o'clock. There's a 9 o'clock curfew. No women.
No women after 9 o'clock.
No women after 9 o'clock.
Only young boys.
No, there's none of that. I was there. I was walking around all the time. I saw everything. No, it's guys drinking. Yeah, they drink. They like that. They sit. They'll pee on the people. Pee, they don't have to go to the bed. They get drunk.
It sounds so weird.
No, it's a fraternity. If you ever you see? Oh, you've never been to college.
I know.
So I went to an Ivy League school. It's fraternity. It's like
a fraternity for super powerful billionaires.
These are all arrested development. Yeah, these are super powerful. The people who run the world, not just. It's like Davil. Yeah, these guys, these are the bankers.
People that run the world, that go to the woods and they kick the women out at 9 o'clock.
That's right. That's right, but it's fun. It's because they are back. It's arrested development, yes. They are back.
Sounds very culty.
Well, I'm a very cult. It's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fun. It's like I'm back. It's an 80-year-old guy who feels like he's 20. He's back in college. He's back. Woo. He's back in the 50s. It's very innocent.
Yeah.
There's no, and by the way, because my guy, My guy, he's in charge of the cops. You know what they got there? They got their own police force. They got ex-Navy SEALs, FBI, California Highway Patrol. They have a private army there.
Wow.
They have because it could be, they have helicopters. They got everything. They got machine guns there. They got and my guy was one of the 6 in charge of the military there. And he's a straight guy. These are Marines guys. These are Semper Fi. These guys, these are old school guys. They're not going to put him in any bullshit. Mm-hmm. In fact, there was some guy who started, then they just threw him out. There's no Epstein type stuff going on at the Bohemian Grove.
I'll take your word for it.
I mean, I know, because I was there. Okay, and I know I know that much. So that's all libel. So I'm defending the Grove. Yeah, so actually I'm defending.
You're on record defending the Grove.
Yeah. Anything that Alex Jones and some other assholes, left-wing, bullshit, fuck them. They're full of shit. They're liars. That's not what happens.
Okay.
There.
How should we wrap this up? What do you want? How do you want people to remember your legacy? If you don't live forever, if you don't find immortality.
Right. Okay, I'm the.
What do you want?
Did you see Star Trek 4? Did you ever see Star Trek 4?
I don't think so.
That's you see Star Trek 4 where they come back in time to San Francisco, to North Beach, to save the whales. It's filmed at the Cafe Trieste, Star Trek 4.
Really?
Yeah. And Paramount Pictures have the director's cut, the CD. I don't know if they have CD. Paramount, they have me, after the show itself, they have people come on, talk about the show. Mm-hmm. They have me lecturing on time travel. And in the plot, there's this crazy rocket scientist, like Back from the Future type guy, which is like me, building the warp drive to get them into time travel, to be able to come back to San Francisco. So I want to be that. I'm that guy. I'm Emmett Brown. I was actually the model of Emmett Brown. I want to be the guy who brought warp drive time travel to the world and saved the world from nuclear war. Superhero Jack Sarfatti.
I love it.
That's me. That's who I think. Super Jew.
That's a great...
Super Jew.
Super Jew, Jack Sarfatti.
It was Jack Sarfatti. I mean, you want the Mossad? Should make me in charge of the Mossad. Well, Uri Geller's probably...
That's a great way to end this podcast, man. Right. You can't... That was a very strong ending.
Yeah.
Where can people find more of your work on the internet? Where do they find you?
Come on, just Google me.
Just Google. Okay.
Come on, I'm all over the place. I mean,
all right.
I'm Star Drive Report. Oh, did I send you? Just by email. I'll send you, because you got to get back now, right?
I got to get back. I got to get back. I got to fly back to Tampa.
Yeah.
Thanks again, Jack.
Okay.
We got to pack up all this shit.
Okay. See if you can get some of these assholes I mentioned.
Yes.
To debate me with you. Get us.
That would be great.
Okay. And also think about if you want to come to London, or maybe you want to come to London and go to Italy too.
Okay.
And just remind me, if you really want to do it, I'll put you in touch with the Italians.
Okay.
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 You decide if you want to do it.
Get us in the Vatican.
Well, Asaro, actually, he's in charge of the Vatican Guards. One of the guys I work with.
That would be incredible.
You could, I'll put you. You ask him, see if he can arrange it.
Okay. All right, folks.
Hey, that'd be fun for us all to go to the Vatican.
That would be incredible.
Because they have the astronomers there in the UFO. Yeah, if we could do a thing, if he could arrange us to do something at the Vatican. Now, you're talking, that's big bucks there. And then, that's...
Let's make it happen.
Okay. Good idea.
All right.
Good idea.
The next episode will be held at the Vatican.
Or London, whatever. Tuscany, they could definitely do it in Tuscany, which is beautiful.
Thanks again, Jack. Let's wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up.
Good night, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this wonderful marathon of an episode.
Yeah, marathon.
Good night, everyone.
I feel like Jerry Lewis. He's to the marathons for the charity.